Dari, thank you. It had been 274 days since the Grove saw some action. You're watching SEC Saturday Night, presented by T-Mobile 5G Home Internet. And man, has it bounced back with a vengeance. Yeah, they are ready to rock and roll for this program, which has cracked the nation's top 10 each of the last 4 years. Lane Kiffin has taken them to new heights. Unfortunately, they've been a CFP bridesmaid. Can they top the mountain this season? Well, they know how to party. We know that.
Going to the Grove.
With all due respect to Lane Kiffin and crew, their preseason preparation runs pale blue in comparison to what happens in the Grove. Pulling all those tables and tents out of storage, dusting off those chandeliers, icing down all those beverages, and warming up all those grills. We don't know yet if the Rebels are in midseason form, but gosh almighty, Hotty Toddy certainly is.
Those 3 words aren't a question, they're a declaration. And hell yeah, damn right we're ready for another season of SEC football. And tonight, the Panthers from Georgia State roll in from the A to take out an Ole Miss team that has high expectations once again. Lane Kiffin's squad has been sensational with one of the nation's top offenses every year that he's been at the helm of this program. Now this season, they turn the page. The Portal King has brought in a brand new roster and a first-year starter at quarterback that has them fired up and yelling Hotty Toddy once again here in Oxford. Austin Simmons is a unique talent playing for Mike Bianco's baseball team at a fastball that sat in the mid-90s, and now he is taking over for Lane Kiffin's football team. Welcome back to another season. Tom Hart, Jordan Rogers. We'll see Cole Cubelic in just a second. It's not just that Austin Simmons is talented. He's got some really big shoes to fill. They just lost the program's best passer in history to the New York Giants, and he's trying to take over for Jackson Dart.
Yeah, Jackson Dart was a generational quarterback for this program, reset the expectations here at Ole Miss. But if there's anybody that can follow him, it is Austin Simmons. Not only is he one of the most talented, physically gifted quarterbacks I've been around, just got a chance to watch him in warmups, unbelievably talented. It's his composure and his maturity that I think is most impressive. Look no further than the drive last year against Georgia. A kid that was in the class of 2025, reclassified to 2023, should have been a senior in high school, steps into the game on the 4th play of the game, leads a 75-yard touchdown drive, goes 5 of 6, and doesn't blink. That should tell you all you need to know about Austin Simmons.
And he's playing for a quarterback whisperer, Cole Cubelic, standing by with Lane Kiffin.
Lane, you feeling good?
Yeah, I am. Crowd's here, excited. Got a lot of new players, so this should be really exciting. Got to play physical right off the bat and protect the football.
A lot of coaches will be nervous about replacing a legend at quarterback. You have a very talented young man. Describe what excites you about Austin Simmons being that particular player.
Yeah, his talent level and his ceiling, so got a lot of work to do to protect the football, but excited to see him play, excited to see all these guys play. We got a really good team, and we need to play well.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, guys.
Tom, that's not the end of what we want to discuss with Austin Simmons here before this football game. I had a chance to catch up with his father, Dave, this week. This has always been the plan, for him to be the man. Now, it wasn't always the plan in football. Baseball was actually the original plan. Dave Simmons told me that that was the goal, just like his goal when he was coming up as a young man, wanted to be a professional baseball player. It's not out of the works just yet, but because of NIL and because of the talent level that he says he first saw throwing the football at 10, 11 years old, we sit here today as Austin Simmons taking over as the Ole Miss starting quarterback, something that they put in the works when he was 10 years old down in South Florida.
Cole, without a doubt, it's an aggressive timeline. Lane Kiffin said it's unfair to have expectations of a young quarterback if you don't give him the pieces and surround him with those pieces to succeed. The Portal King did just that.
Yeah, a lot of new faces on both sides of the football, but think about this offense. They're replacing 4 offensive linemen, 4 of their top 5 pass catchers, 4 of their top rushers, so they reloaded. Kewan Lacey, a dynamic running back that's going to turn some heads, and guys to catch the football for Austin Simmons, the Oklahoma State transfer, Dejon Stribling, Harrison Wallace from Penn State, Caleb Odom, a tight end converted from wide receiver from Alabama. A lot of new faces, but a ton of talent around Austin Simmons.
We raise the curtain on another season of SEC football. This from Hemingway Stadium in Oxford, Mississippi. And we welcome you to SEC Saturday Night. No return for Georgia State, and they bring out a very interesting quarterback in Christian Bayer. He was a top recruit from north of the border coming out of Ottawa, Ontario, and Canada. He started his career at Penn State in a loaded quarterback room. Then he moved on to the Pitt Panthers. 5 career starts between the two. Last year at Georgia State, he showed flashes, Jordan. There was just some inconsistency.
Yeah, and he's really talented. Strong arm. He can really push the ball downfield. Decision-making and interceptions have kind of been his Achilles heel. But this squad has surrounded Bayer with some talent on the outside as well, led by #1 wide receiver Ted Hurst and a couple of transfers that'll be in the mix tonight as well.
That includes DJ Braswell at running back, former South Carolina running back, among other stops, as Hurst goes in motion. There's some to think that this Georgia State backfield is more talented than the one Ole Miss will put on the field. Camden Overton Howard is their new tight end, and the senior transfer from Gardner-Webb picks up 7 on first down. What do we expect from the Georgia State offense?
Well, look, it is a squad that, as you mentioned, reloaded in the portal with a bunch of SEC talent, SEC former talent in their backfield, guys that were top running backs in their classes from Georgia, from South Carolina, Ole Miss, Akron. They're loaded. They want to start with a run and play action pass off that.
Del McGee in a second season as the head man in Atlanta, and they'll keep it on the ground on second down. This is Braswell. Mentioned the new pieces on the Georgia State side, a rebuild on the Ole Miss side of the football, one of the best in the country last year.
Yeah, new faces all over the place. You see the transfers. Ricky Fletcher at corner, Antonio Kite on the other corner, an Auburn transfer. Sage Ryan, maybe the most versatile player on the back end, the former LSU safety, lines up all over the field, one of the leaders already, even though he's a new transfer.
So Georgia State looking at a 3rd and 1 opening possession. Bayer drops back, wants a throw, needing one, gets nothing. He had some pressure in his face as he was aiming for Ted Hurst, but Xavier Harris sent him tumbling.
Watch Harris come right down the A-gap, just puts Alec Johnson, the center, on his butt. What a way to start this game.
They're going to go for it under center. Bayer tries to find some room, and he does, just outside of his left guard. And so Panthers rolling the dice early. Del McGee got a huge program win last year against Vanderbilt. They beat the team that beat the team. Vandy would later knock off #1 Alabama. But they struggled throughout conference play, and they come in having lost 7 of 8 into this season opener. Bayer's been on quite the football journey. He left Canada as a teenager to come to school in the States and then work his way eventually to Happy Valley, and tries to take off on the left side and finds just one. Jaden Yates is stopped. So Terrion Perkins is a weapon up front for the Rebels.
No doubt. I mean, all the pieces that the front lost for Ole Miss, Walter Nolan, J.J. Pegues, Jared Ivey, Princely Umanmielen. Perkins may be the best of them all when it's all said and done. 10.5 sacks last year, 2nd in program history for a season. He is one of the more talented pass rushers in the entire country.
Junior out of Raleigh, Mississippi. Preseason All-American. Amos, who just entered at running back, and it's the first touch for John Robinson, and it gets swallowed up by a Ricky Fletcher.
You can tell Georgia State just trying to get the ball on the perimeter quickly, getting Christian Bayer some easy throws, trying to take the pass rush that we've already seen from Ole Miss out of the equation.
They're down 8.
There's Perkins there at the top of your screen. 3rd and 8. You know it's going to be a pass. See if Perkins is able to get in the backfield and disrupt Bayer.
Play clock to 1. They just got it off. Bayer to the slant, knocked away, trying to find the leading receiver Hurst. And great defense on the back end for Ole Miss.
Nick Cole does a great job there breaking that up. Ted Hurst is the go-to receiver for Georgia State. He's got inside leverage here. It's a really good route, but it's an even better adjustment by Cole. Undercutting that one, getting his right hand across without getting his left hand on the back or the jersey of Ted Hurst.
Reed Shanley on to punt it away for the Panthers. Harrison Wallace III, better known as Trey, back to receive this. He stands with his toes on the opposite 15. Come up to the 19 to make the catch and has some momentum. First three missed. Now he's got the middle of the field. Flag comes flying and Harris gets taken down at the 32-yard line. The flag is back at the 47, and we'll see if this one's coming back. 49-yard return off of a 43-yard punt, penalty notwithstanding.
Day return, holding, receiving team number 16. 10-yard penalty for spinal foul. First down.
Dan Williamson is our referee, so we will bring this one back, and we get a look at Lane Kiffin's newest quarterback, Austin Simmons. Simmons was homeschooled. He graduated high school what would have been his 10th grade year, so he reclassified by 2 different classes. Got to Ole Miss, took his studies seriously. He already has a bachelor's degree in his back pocket, pursuing a master's in athletic administration, and now makes his first career start. Empty backfield as Simmons, the southpaw, works out of the shotgun. Charlie Weiss Jr. wants this offense after this first snap to go at breakneck speed. He said that's how we will simplify it for our first-time starter. And that's an easy pitch and catch. Daquan Wright takes it to midfield and a pickup of 14.
Yeah, the reason Charlie Weiss wants to go so fast, new defensive coordinator Travis Pearson for Georgia State completely overhauled the structure, the scheme of this defense, as well as most of the players. So a lot of unknowns as far as who they're going to be on defense.
Fake to Kewan Lacey, out to Trey Wallace. He's got the sideline, and he picks up another Ole Miss first down, back-to-back gains of 14.
So keep it simple for Austin Simmons, crank up the tempo, go fast, and get an idea in this first drive of just what Georgia's going to be. Are they 3 down? Are they 4 down? Right now in a 4-down structure.
Simmons pulls it back, delivers over the middle. Daquan Wright takes it to the house. Welcome to the SEC, Austin Simmons. His first start, last of 49 seconds on the opening drive for a touchdown. Well, he showed glimpses of it last season, especially with a high leverage drive against Georgia. But in his first start, Simmons wastes absolutely no time. The kicker for Ole Miss, this is Lucas Carnero, preseason All-SEC. Transferred in from Western Kentucky. 7-0 Rebs.
Boy, watch the play action right here is going to get Wilson to sneak up, and then you're going to get Daquan Wright right down the middle. Nobody there. Linebackers all played the run in a perfect pass from Austin Simmons, picking right up where he left off last year at Georgia. This offense hasn't skipped a beat, and that's a heck of a way to start the game for your first start.
Vibes are high on the Ole Miss sideline. First possession, the Rebels cash in behind Austin Simmons and tight end Daquan Wright. TJ Payton back to receive this one and won't have a chance for a return. Well, pretty simple for Austin Simmons to direct the offense. Now it's Pete Golding and the defense going to work. One of the most chaotic defenses in college football last year. And this guy's worth every penny if you can get to the playoffs. Tackles for loss and sacks were top of the food chain for the Land Sharks.
Yeah, Pete Golding, well deserved. Got an extension that made him the highest paid assistant in the SEC. That defense was the #2 scoring defense, #2 rush defense in the FBS, mainly because of how good they were up front. So continually tonight, we're going to be putting a highlight on that defensive line as they look to reload the dominance that they had last year.
Hurst in motion. DJ Braswell is at running back behind Bayer. Bayer goes to Braswell out of the backfield, and he gets swallowed up. Call this defense under Pete Golding feels like it's just reloading. We got flags and some smack talk in the backfield. We got a helmet ripped off. And big number 0, the tight end, Camden Overton Howard, in his first game at Georgia State, decided to remove Princewell Umanmielon's hat. Georgia State came in showing some fight.
Yeah, Umanmielon, one of those new toys that this defense got in the portal from Nebraska. Obviously, you know the name well. His brother was here last year, a big part of that defensive front.
Dead ball personal foul. Number 8, 0, the offensive team. Number 4, 8, the defensive team. Those fouls will offset. The down will count. It's now second down.
They both got caught with their hands in the cookie jar.
Yeah, look, you're hitting your own teammates for so long, all summer, all fall camp. You just can't wait to hit somebody of the opposite color jersey. You got to stop when the whistle blows, and neither of those guys wanted to.
So 2nd and 9 now. There's 6'5", 209. Saw action at both Penn State and Pitt before coming to Georgia State, and he's able to get the pretty good gain goal.
Talking to Pete Golding on the field before the game, Tom, as you mentioned, that rebuild. I told him when we met with him, I said, Pete, I couldn't believe how confident you are in some of these individuals that you have coming back replacing NFL draftees. He said, well, you know, all of us coaches, Coley's like, we really don't know what the hell we have this year. Nobody knows. He's like, I don't either. So don't think I was too confident, but he does feel good about the level of talent that they have in certain spots, specifically on the defensive line. With guys like Walter Nolan, J.J. Pegues, who's in attendance tonight, being gone, he thinks they can be just as good, if not more talented than they were a year ago.
That is saying something because they were elite last year. Just missed out on the college football playoff by a couple of spots. And a great pursuit and a takedown by Deshaun Womack, LSU transfer.
Yeah, Womack's going to be on a little bit of a stunt, a TE stunt. The tackle is going to come here. He's going to loop around. Bayer's going to be looking to his right, but Perkins actually, the defensive end, drops into coverage right underneath the short route. Bayer's got nowhere to go with the ball, and that's Womack, one of those new pieces from LSU.
And the nomenclature TE, the tackle goes first and then the end.
A lot of it could be ET, the end going first, tackle looping around. Football's simple. Let's just keep it 1 or 2 letters, right. Put them in order. You don't want to think too much.
Oh, nearly got a piece of it. It takes a Georgia State hop and may have caromed off of an Ole Miss player, and so Wallace jumps on it at the 20. When we return, we'll see the young fireballer Austin Simmons. The southpaw takes over for the 2nd time, looking to add to the Ole Miss lead.
Saturday night is presented by T-Mobile 5G Home Internet.
Well, Georgia State owns a pair of wins against SEC teams. They beat Diego Pavia and Vandy last year. A couple of weeks before Vandy would take down #1 Alabama. And then a few years before that, they went into Knoxville and knocked off Tennessee on Rocky Top. That was a disaster of a day. Do you remember that? A boat caught fire in the Vol Navy.
Yes.
And a band member passed out at halftime, and they marched right over that Tennessee band member. And then they
The
lost
show goes on.
Yeah.
The show goes on.
Yeah, Jeremy Pruitt suffered the loss that day. This is a young program, only 16th season of football in Atlanta. They play their home games where the Atlanta Braves used to play baseball. First and 10 for Austin Simmons. He wants to throw again. O-line holds up well, and he tried to fit it into a corner. There's a flag down at 32. Caden Lee, guarded by Dicey Hopkins. See what the flag's about.
Holding on the defense, number 4. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot, and it includes an automatic first down.
That's Hopkins. It would be on the college football all-name team if we had such a thing. Dicey defrosted on that one.
Dell McGee in a complete rebuild. We were talking about how young this program is, but it's a proud program. Before last year, bowl games in 4 out of 5 years. So they haven't been around long, but they've had a lot of recent success.
Simmons hit as he throws, and he's picked up in midfield. Georgia State's Chomps Jine takes it down to the 20-yard line. 24-yard return for Jine. The transfer in from Independence Community College in Kansas.
Boy, Patrick Kutas, the transfer from Arkansas, playing right guard, working on Henry Bryant. The best player is just going to disengage, and a great rip through by Bryant for the sack. Obviously, Austin Simmons looking the opposite way. Big momentum play early here for Georgia State.
Simmons has 1-1. Cameron Brown is a new quarterback for Georgia State. Transfer from Texas Tech. Played in 8 games with the Red Raiders last year. He's got Branson Robinson behind him. Third possession, they change quarterbacks, and nothing doing on that run. The concern for Pete Golding, the different quarterbacks are going to play in trying to slow down this run game. So they couldn't be picked apart with #1 Ted Hurst, who is a uniquely talented wide receiver, preseason all-conference in the Sun Belt.
And Branson Robinson in there, a name that Georgia fans know well. He was recruited by Dell McGee at Georgia, former 4-star, ESPN's #1 running back, 36 overall recruit. DJ Braswell now in the game as well, a South Carolina transfer.
Yeah, Robinson played for Kirby, had a couple touchdowns in the national championship game against TCU a few years ago. A couple of yards for Braswell that time. So our first look at Cameron Brown. He's from Warner Robins, Georgia, just south of Atlanta. He was the offensive freshman of the year at West Georgia.
Played sparingly at Texas Tech, 8 games last year. Really more of a dual threat guy. He's big, he's athletic. They air more of the passer, but you can tell this is part of the game plan. Mix in a little bit quarterback run, some zone reads, try to change things up for this Ole Miss defense.
Short field for the Panthers after the pick. 3rd and 9. Complete. And a spin near the marker to Javon Robinson. They're at least a yard short. And now they'll have a decision to make. 4th and about 1.
No decision. They're getting right to the line of scrimmage. They're going to snap it here.
They've already converted 1 on a QB sneak, and now they do it with their second QB. And that was pretty easy for Cameron Brown.
I love that. Not enough teams do that. There should be a 1-word call if you're within a yard, tempo to the line of scrimmage, you catch the defense off guard. Quarterback sneak is a tough play to stop. Dell McGee rolling the dice, knowing he stole a possession on the other end with the interception. His chance here to tie it up and get some momentum and some confidence back for this young team.
And some other advantages with a shorter center and taller defensive tackles for Ole Miss as well.
Former Ole Miss running back Rashad Amos is now in the game for Georgia State. His first touch in a visiting uniform here. Picks up 3. Go back to that center nose matchup goal.
Well, Alec Johnson's listed at 6'2". There's no way he is. Watching him play, he reminds me a lot of Willie Lampkin at North Carolina last year, who's going to make an NFL roster. I think he was like 5'9". He's a little bit, Alec Johnson, a little bit taller than that. He makes every call. I talked to a coach on the staff before the game. He said the coaches that came in that were new on this staff, they wanted to run him. They thought they could get a better player. Went and got a couple different guys. He ends up winning the job again after being the starter last year. Handles everything mentally. He's a guy that just understands body control, hand placement. He's a really good football player in the middle.
2nd and 7. Amos is taken down by Franklin. And they'll leave a 3rd and about 4 now for Georgia State. Panthers have yet to convert a 3rd down 0 for 4.
Well, you got to find Ted Hurst. You're Dell McGee in this Georgia State offense. Find number 1, your best receiver, 6'3", 195. He's a mismatch down here. He's going to be at the bottom of your screen. Number 1 right there.
He was 2nd team all-conference for Georgia State last year. Entered the portal but returned. And he was guarded well, and so it ends up a quarterback sack. Xavier Harris takes down Cameron Brown.
Boy, and watch this, Ted Hurst. He's the guy that Cameron Brown wants to go to. He's waiting, but he trips coming off the line of scrimmage here.
Tripped over his own guy.
Yeah, gets his feet tied up. Friendly fire. Nowhere to go with the football for Cam Brown. That was going to be in the back of the end zone using the height of Ted Hurst. Instead, it's a field goal attempt and trying to get 3 points off the interception.
30-yard attempt for Liam Rickman. He made 74% of his kicks last year. Accounted for 15 points in her upset against Vanderbilt. And the knuckleball is off the post. And a doink ends the possession for Georgia State. Kiffin's squad dodges a bullet. He got a short field thanks to the pick, but then the pigskin meets the post. Denied. 7-0 Ole Miss. 7-0 lead for Ole Miss. They got their touchdown through the air. Lane Kiffin telling us yesterday he wasn't happy with the way they ran the ball last year. They rebuilt the offensive line in many ways.
Yeah, remember the only returning starter, Diego Pounds there, P.J. Wilkins and Kudus, both transfers this year.
Simmons nearly blasted, somehow evades the pressure, and he slides into second with a 9-yard gain. There's a flag back at the 12-yard line.
Holding, offense number 75. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Be first down.
That's Kudus, and Cole Kudus is having a tough start to this game.
Struggling just a little bit. Slide protection there, and so Austin Simmons gets pressure from the backside, has to step up. You just have to understand when your quarterback may be on the move to disengage, allow that defender to chase him down. But you know, it's been tough going for him. That one defensive tackle just kind of ran through him that time. I'm not going to blame him as much. When quarterback's on the move, it's tough to know exactly where he's going to be.
So it leaves Ole Miss with a 1st and 20. Pocket holds this time. Simmons with time converts over the middle. It's Winston Watkins with a 28-yard gain for the freshman from Fort Myers, Florida.
That's a great touch pass. I love watching Austin Simmons because he could throw the ball through a brick wall if he wanted to, but so much he's able to manipulate, slow the pace down. Be accurate with touch throws.
There's Deuce Alexander. Alexander with the cutback takes it down to the 30. That's a gain of 31.
Deuce Alexander, another one of these transfers, the Wake Forest product, was actually on the opposite sideline when Ole Miss beat him 40-6 last year, and he's going, man, I kind of like what they're doing over there.
6 plays, 6 first downs. That will hurt the average on a completion to Caleb Odom. Yeah, it's easy to see that you would like what they're doing over here offensively, because since Lane came here, they've been one of the best in the country.
Take Harrison Wallace, for example. They were in a playoff game, and no receiver caught a football for Penn State. I mean, and he's their #1 receiver. He's got to be going, man, I got to get somewhere they're going to throw me the football.
It is a deep wide receiver role as Quan Lacey, the Missouri transfer, picks up a first down. And Lane Kiffin said, I know all these guys want to go to the draft. They want to make more money. We need to share the football. If we run at a tempo, which we're possible to do, then everybody get a crack at it. It's a lot easier to share the football. Simmons, end zone, intercepted for the second time. What a grab by Jordan Huff.
Boy, Henry Bryant for Georgia State is absolutely whooping whoever he is lining up against. This time, P.J. Wilkins. Watch him right here. He's going to get in the face of Austin Simmons rushing from his left side, left-hand quarterback. It's going to change the arm angle at the last second for Simmons and contribute to that interception. That's 2 times that the offensive line protection-wise have kind of led to bad decisions, bad throws from Austin Simmons.
And the second time Henry Bryant has turned into QB Hurry, his 3rd season here with the Panthers. And Georgia State goes back to Christian Veilleux. Veilleux was their starter last year. And with the handoff, there's room on the left side thanks to a shake from Rashad Amos. And he stays on his feet with a burst past the 30 and a first down run of 15 yards for the former Ole Miss Rebels. 6 games with Ole Miss last year for Rashad.
Rashad, you want to talk about a journeyman for college football? What's he been with? 7 programs? Obviously, Ole Miss being one of those stops for the fans that remember the name.
You imagine the gear.
Yeah, do you think he's kept it from every squad?
I'm going to say no. Some goodwill dunks there.
I would. I still have mine somewhere. Only one school, though.
Part of a very deep and talented running back room for Georgia State, and Amos again takes it straight ahead. A lot of stickers on his suitcase as he has traveled the college football world. 7 schools, 6 states, 5 conferences. Is that enough for you? Coming out of Sandy Creek High School in the Atlanta area.
Well, that's just a credit to head coach Dell McGee and his prowess as I don't know if you call it a running back whisperer, but he's worked with some really good ones. Nick
I
Chubb,
think that's fair.
Sony Michel, DeAndre Swift, Zamir White, all taken in the first 4 rounds of the NFL draft out of Georgia, all guys that were under his tutelage.
Pressure on Vieira. He's able to escape, and he cuts it back across the logo. He's got a first down with his legs.
That's a great job by Vieira, just stepping up in this pocket. It's going to condense. Romain Mielen from the left side forces Vieira up in the pocket and using the athleticism. He's not that twitchy, but he's athletic enough to make you miss and get his big 6'5" frame going downhill. This is nervous territory for Ole Miss.
Sure.
After a really fast start, Georgia State 2 turnovers and climbing their way back into this game once again.
That'll bring it in to the first quarter of action. Ole Miss with a lightning strike start, but since then, future of this one has turned cloudy. Georgia State has had a couple of good drives thanks to the takeaways. Daquan Wright got Ole Miss on the board to start things, but since then, some stumbles. Cookie's got the extinguisher, and we are fired up here in Oxford. Welcome back to SEC Saturday Night, presented by T-Mobile 5G Home Internet. Del McGee's squad is hanging in there. Moments ago, Cole Cubelic tracked down the Georgia State head coach.
Coach McGee, not sure exactly what the plan was with your quarterbacks coming in. What's the plan moving forward as far as rotation?
We're going to play both guys. We're just trying to make sure we're getting our second string guy in the game to make sure he's ready to go when his play is time for his play to be called. So we're going to play both guys. So we're just rolling right now.
Henry Bryan, this defensive line, having a lot of success up front, pass rush and slowing down the run. How do you slow things down in the secondary against this group?
Yeah, we can't bust coverages, and we got to play with better eye discipline. We're not doing that right now. We got to get our hands on the receivers and play a little bit more man and zone.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks.
Well, Del McGee left a national championship program for his first crack as a collegiate head coach. He was hired 8 days after Sean Elliott left last spring, after Georgia State spring practice had already begun. It was a whirlwind week from McGee, who's part of a pair of national championships with Kirby's program and the 2018 National Recruiter of the Year. Cole.
Well, he brings that recruiting prowess, Tom, and I spoke to Terry Bowden, his college coach at Auburn, about, did you ever know that this was coming? Did you ever think he was going to be a college coach? And he said, I don't know what his plan was, but he was always the first DB in. He was always over-communicating with everybody, always going out of his way to make sure everybody else had their responsibilities down as well as his own.
Well, as a player and as a coach, going back to his Auburn days, he's only had 5 losing seasons. Swing pass and incomplete.
He told me before the game, Tom, he said coaching was not in the works. He said, I didn't grow up thinking I was going to be a coach. Didn't think I was going to coach in college. It kind of presented itself. He took an opportunity once he finished playing football. And obviously, he's been one of the best recruiters in the nation for years. Now getting an opportunity. You mentioned the difficulties of when he took over this job. I mean, I can remember talking to their head coach about going and playing at Alabama many years ago, and then the Sun Belt just starting out. And he said, we played Alabama so we could get lights at our practice field.
Well, this is a program tonight that's had a hard time on 3rd down, 0 for 5. But hanging in there, only down a touchdown. Over the middle and incomplete. By the way, Cole, back to that recruiting success. The #1 class that he recruited to Georgia when he was the National Recruiter of the Year included Justin Fields, Zamir White, James Cook, Jordan Davis, among others. Woo. It was one of the highest 247 composite ranked classes in history. They had the #1 quarterback, the #1 running back, and the #1 offensive lineman.
Feels pretty good.
Yeah. That'll get you a bullet point on your LinkedIn resume. Panthers punting it away. Fair catch. Ashford will take it inside the 5 at the 2-yard line. And a flag. It looks like kick catch interference, and that'll give him some breathing room after a 42-yard kick. National epidemic catching punts inside the 5. Looked like Leo Blackburn was the gunner that got flagged. Lane Kiffin's squad hasn't given him much to smile about since that opening drive.
At the end of the kick, personal foul, kicking team, number 8, 15-yard penalty, respond to the foul, first down.
So tack on another 15.
You see Wallace there making the fair catch.
Yeah, that'll usually get you.
Bailed him out a little bit, though. I don't advise fair catching at the 2-yard line.
See where your feet are, right? How about Austin Simmons? You saw him warm up. You saw him in the spring carnival a couple of years ago.
Yeah, not a great start, but there is a lot of talent, and I love first play of the drive against Georgia last year, the trust that Charlie Weiss had him. Let's roll him out. Look at the arm talent, the velocity and the accuracy that he's able to generate. And then I love this. Again, down in the red zone, your first drive against Georgia, you're throwing into triple coverage, but that's the right call. And he's throwing his receiver open, so he's able to see the field in 3-dimensionally is what I call it, and this is it.
Dropped it right over the top, and Trey Wallace has an Ole Miss first down. Couldn't have placed it better, and it's a 47-yard strike from Austin Simmons.
And the first splash play from one of these transfer receivers goes to Trey Wallace. Just straight ran by the DB.
And now they'll try to get it done on the ground. Kawan Lacey is able to pick up 7.
Well, Wallace does a great job at the line of scrimmage. He's probably thinking he was going to have an outside release, gets an inside release, beats him with speed, and then he stacks him. He gets back on top of the DB to allow that ball to go over the top and protect the throw.
Brings to mind something that both Lane Kiffin and Charlie Weiss hit on with us yesterday. We don't want you to overthrow any one of our wide receivers. And that sounds simple, but the line of thinking is give them a chance to win the ball.
Yeah, there's just the ball skills from Dejon Stribling, Wallace, guys like Caleb Odom, Daquan Wright, Caden Lee, obviously the returner. So much talent. Yeah, don't overthrow him. And Austin Simmons could overthrow Usain Bolt if he was out there running. He's got that kind of arm, but you saw the touch and the accuracy he was able to put on that one right in the breadbasket for Wallace.
What are some of the other things his coaching staff is watching for when he gets his first start, and a guy without very much mileage on his tires, even though he saw some action last year?
Yeah, I think it's the decision making in the RPO game, right? So much of this Lane Kiffin offense is based on showing the run, putting it in the belly of the running back, reading the defense, whether it's one guy on the second level, a safety on the third level, making the right decisions. That was one thing in Jackson Dart's first year. He had too many turnovers, too many bad decisions. Then he developed into a guy that could protect the football. Austin Simmons young. He's got to avoid those mistakes early as well, and we've seen a few of them already tonight.
Josiah Robinson, the injured Panther, walks to the sideline. Cole?
We asked Charlie Weis two things, Tom, that is going to give you confidence that Austin's ready for this moment and that he can excel in this offense. You mentioned one of them. That's don't overthrow a receiver down the field. The other was take a check down.
Yeah.
Just want to see if he can operate the offense within the guidelines that we've been coaching it. You saw one there, not overthrowing down the field, and of course check down, something that I feel like he's not going to have a problem doing either.
Trinidad Chambliss is the new quarterback. They're going to get the second stringer some run. Transfer from Ferris State, where he won a national title. This is the first third down of the game for Ole Miss. He's a running quarterback, and he lives up to that reputation by delivering a lick and picking up.
Interesting. We had the conversation, I think, in one of the commercial breaks or maybe pregame, like, what's the QB run game going to look like with Austin Simmons? Jackson Dart was a bulldozer when he wanted to be, so he could go in between the tackles. Maybe we do see a little bit more of Trinidad Chambliss for some of those between the tackle Q run games that Charlie Weis and Lane Kiffin dial up so frequently.
So Simmons back in as the signal caller, held that handoff a long time. And Kewan Lacey, a Dallas product by way of Mizzou, taken down by Brent Washington.
Jordan, I thought the interesting part of that was Coach Weis, Coach Kiffin told us we're not going to run him like we did Jackson Dart. You know, he's not necessarily built for that. When you stand next to him, he looks kind of like he's built for that. Like, the kid is put together extremely well. Now, he didn't have the lower body that Jackson did, but it looks like he absolutely could handle it.
They're also very different from a leadership perspective, and Austin told us he's learning to be a little bit more vocal, taken down there. Cole, you talked with Jackson. What did he say about his former understudy?
He's so excited for this young man this year. I talked to Jackson Dart today, and he essentially just said it was cool to see his growth while we were both there together. And now that I'm gone, I think he's going to explode this year. I think he's going to be a contender for SEC Player of the Year. I think he's going to thrive in this offense. Jackson even saying he can do things with his arm that I couldn't do. They are built different, but I'll tell you this, Jackson Dart might be his biggest fan watching him tonight.
3rd and 10. Simmons fires. It is tipped and incomplete. Trying to sneak it into Caden Lee, and Bernard Causey had the coverage on the back end.
Boy, this is one of those times I was talking about touch throws. This one he's got to put out in front of Caden Lee. There's a lot of green grass in front of him. Throw it out, let him run under it to catch. That time he tries to put it on a rope, allows the DB to undercut that. That's one of those things you start to see the field differently with more time, more experience. That's a throw and a mistake he won't make twice.
42-yard attempt for Lucas Carnero. He was a Lou Groza Award finalist last year and on the preseason list this season. And he splits the uprights from deep. And the Rebels able to up the advantage. They've survived a pair of Austin Simmons picks to this point in the game. Scored on their first possession and now a triple on the most recent. 10-0 Rebels. Well, Lane Kiffin doesn't leave anything to chance. He talked about having a strong-legged kicker like Carnero, and he said it allows me to save putting first stringers on the kickoff team. You get touchbacks 80% of the time. You don't really have to think about it. And that's exactly what Carnero does right here. Just added a field goal a moment ago, and this season for every field goal and extra point made by participating universities, Allstate will make a contribution to the university's general scholarship fund. Thank you, Allstate. Tom Hart, Jordan Rogers, Cole Kublik back with you on SEC Saturday night. And in that booth is Hugh Jackson.
He's in there somewhere.
Yeah, former NFL head coach.
4 different stops as an offensive coordinator in the NFL as well. Got a couple NFL guys. Joe Judge, the former New York Giants head coach, the quarterback coach on the other side for Ole Miss.
He brings intensity, huh?
Yeah.
Ball tipped on the rush, and it falls incomplete. TJ Daugherty, the leader of this Ole Miss defense.
Yeah, remember, they're trying to replace Chris Paul. TJ Daugherty, obviously a standout from last year. They added a couple of small school tackling machines. Jaden Yates, Andrew Jones, Taj Chambers, a bunch of guys to try to mix in and out next to Daugherty, sure up that second level that was such a strength for this Ole Miss team last year.
Yeah, I think Chambers, number 26, right there next to Daugherty, may have the highest ceiling of anybody on this Ole Miss defense. Back to the ground game, nearly a 5-yard pickup for Branson Robinson, former Georgia Bulldog. Been a long journey for Robinson, who's from just down the road in Canton, Mississippi. He exits, and he's replaced by another SEC caliber running back. They're down 6.
Perkins really hasn't made his impact on this game yet. One of the top pass rushers in the entire country right here on 3rd down. Let's see if he can get in the backfield.
Ole Miss brings the house just over the middle and incomplete. Trying to fit it into Overton Howard, tight end. They lost a really productive tight end, transferred to Maryland in the offseason, so looking to Howard to take over that spot. Dorian Fleming now playing with the Terrapins.
Yeah, ball came out so fast. Really on target throw. That's one that Overton should bring down. You know, you said transferred to Maryland, and in today's day and age, it's more like signed as a free agent with Maryland. You know, I mean, these guys, especially the group of 5 teams, their rosters get poached. If someone's good, they're gone. It's really, really tough to develop players at that level.
Reed Chanley to punt it away. Trey Wallace from the 26. Straight up the gut and to the 44-yard line. Another wonderful weekend in Oxford, Mississippi. Those idyllic spots on our schedule to visit.
been a rocky start so far for this Ole Miss offense. The offensive line has been retooled, and it hasn't been the best friend of Austin Simmons tonight. Hit on that one, causing the interception. A little bit of pressure in his face, causing an errant decision and throw here so far. We talked about the responsibility for Austin Simmons of filling the shoes of a generational talent in Jackson Dart, all-time leading passer in the school. Obviously, the expectations around this Ole Miss program changed with Jackson Dart's tenure here. Not the start that Austin Simmons envisioned, but I tell you what, knowing this kid and his mental makeup, he's not fazed one bit right now. He's going to get right back to doing what he does best, and he's as talented as it comes. I expect him to turn things around here.
Yeah, he said we all came with one goal. That's to beat every team we play. He hooks up with Daquan Wright again. And Wright has a 19-yard gain.
A second time they've used a hard play action there to get Daquan Wright on the second level behind those impacted linebackers. And here's the tempo. They need to get back into a tempo flow here for their young quarterback.
Simmons hit as he throws again as the pocket collapsed. It was Henry Bryant one more time. He has been a wrecker.
Jordan, you go back to that previous play, though, to Daquan Wright kind of coming through the middle, that fade down the sideline, one-on-one that was wide open. They used the same motion there. It's one of the things that linebacker and safety both bid on, seeing him sort of insert through the middle of the line of scrimmage.
Well, number 10, Henry Bryant, has inserted himself in the Ole Miss backfield time and again. That time he got by center Bryson Sanders. Pump one way, looking another all day, and a strike complete for a first down to Trey Wallace.
Boy, great protection that time for Austin Simmons. He got to look to 1 to 2 to 3 to his 4th read, essentially on the backside. Finally, this offensive line giving him some time.
Third catch for Wallace. He's already got 80 yards in this one. And now Kewan Lacey. And Lacey squirts through, makes it all the way down the 11-yard line. They got Lacey from Mizzou, Logan Diggs from LSU, Damian Taylor from Troy, and then a couple other younger pieces that they really like in the backfield. Here's Lacey, touched in the backfield and pops through again after contact. Henry Bryant in on the stop, turned him around.
They cannot block Henry Bryant. I'm going to sound like a broken record, but it once again comes right through the A-gap with a near TFL.
So 3rd and 3. And Lacey may be short. Ian Matthews in on the stop. There's an injured Panther. Will give Ole Miss time to think about it once they set the ball. It's Matthews who is down on the ground for the Panthers. Lane Kiffin, early in his tenure here at Ole Miss, was an analytics lover, and part of that was waiting for the kicking game to come around. But it was hard to find anybody that went for it on 4th down more often than Lane Kiffin did. Now, the last couple of years, they added a kicker that was legit and one of the top scorers in the game. But top 10 first 3 years in the number of times that Lane Kiffin decided to go for it on 4th down. That affects all of the play calling, even on 3rd down.
No doubt. Yeah, I remember doing games a number of years ago where their 3rd down play calling was really like 2nd down play calling. They weren't even necessarily trying to get a 1st down as much as they were sometimes just setting up a short 4th down to go for it. So analytics change, and that's one thing. It's not just black and white. It's not rigid. As your kicking improves, as the range improves, as the accuracy improves, those analytics change, and so the book will tell you something different than maybe it did a couple years earlier.
And I wonder also if there's some impact to go a little bit more conservative when you have so much on the line. They led for all of 56 minutes last year, and they were just trailed. Sorry, but no, they led.
Sorry,
all
you're right. Yep.
Get out of my head, Rogers.
I know, I messed you up.
The point is, every game they played last year until the very end mattered. They were right on the cusp of getting in the playoff.
And really, the defense, you could lean on them a lot more, right? You didn't have to feel like you need to steal a possession here or there 1 or 2 times a game and go for it on 4th. You go, hey, let's punt, put our defense back on the field, play a field position game, something that Lane Kiffin hadn't done a ton of in his career. But here we go, 4th down, and they'll be rolling the dice.
And it is all of a full yard for Ole Miss as Georgia State rotates some guys in. And now Rebs hurry to the line. Out of the shotgun, they're going to snap it to the tight end, Daquan White. And he's able to pick up the first down. And Charlie Weis Jr. has this in his bag of tricks, Cole. He has long leaned on big guys to take over the QB run game.
Well, J.J. Pegues is here tonight, and we asked Charlie, who fills that role? I don't know what the jumbo athlete situation was looking like, but he said Daquan Wright could be the guy that handles it for him.
And he's able to pick up the first down. We've seen two different guys run it from the quarterback position, not named Austin Simmons tonight. Lacy takes a beating, powers to the goal line, and he's just short. And they'll have second and goal inside the 1.
I think when you hear Lane Kiffin say we hadn't had a guy like him since Quinchon, that's the kind of run you think about right there.
And it's Lacy again. He's met, spins free, and he splashes into the end zone. What a run by Lacy. Wow. Thought he was dead to rights. He's like a snake in a lawnmower. Just came spitting out the other side.
Boy, 5'11", 210 pounds. He met Henry Bryant at 6 foot 290 right in the hole and bounced right off him.
There's Carnero for the point after. That was a solid drive. 9 plays, 56 yards, 255. Kawan Lacy, you know, Lane Kiffin does. I think he was given more hits than taken as he finds the end zone, and Ole Miss adds to its lead. (17-0). Number 21 Ole Miss leading Georgia State. Panthers have one top 25 win in their program history. They came against Coastal Carolina a few years ago. He had a pretty good run before Sean Elliott left to return to South Carolina as a position coach. Came a few practices into their spring. And now here they are in Oxford. Let's take a look at Fansville, brought to you by Dr. Pepper. And the Grove has come to life once again. Some say that the 03 Eli Manning versus LSU game, there was an estimated 100,000 fans packed into the Grove.
Is there anything better than a Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon in the Grove?
I don't think there is.
Maybe a Saturday night at the library. I mean, you know, after a win.
The tandem would be Friday night at the library, Saturday afternoon in the Grove.
Well, I don't have the stamina like you.
No, we gotta work it. We gotta get you into in-season shape. Back to the ground game for the Panthers, and Rashad Amos, former Rebel, takes it past midfield. 29 yards on first down.
Really good block by right guard Donovan Funch, climbing to the second level. 52 there. Getting a block on TJ Daugherty that sprung Rashad Amos free. Amos having a good night. 53 yards on 5 carries.
Some of that eye candy Pete Golding said he was worried about. You get the split zone, so coming across the opposite direction with that jet motion coming at the same time, so kind of double your pleasure for the eye candy.
Mentioned that he's on his 7th different school. That is a long trip. South Carolina, Miami, Ohio, Mississippi State, Colorado, Ole Miss, stopover in Memphis, and now Georgia State, part of a handful of transfers in the Georgia State running back room.
I just think about how annoying moving is.
In college especially.
And just, I just don't know if I could make myself do it, to be honest.
You gotta borrow somebody's truck. You got stuff in the dorm that you bought cheap. You're not sure if I should throw it away or keep it.
Can't move into your new place till a week later, and you've already got your stuff out.
Y'all had way more stuff than I did. Throw it in a laundry basket, put a backpack on. Let's go. Second down.
You also rode in a school bus from Missouri to College Station, Texas.
Just wanted to go check out the Dixie Chicken and see some college football, Cole. Afraid of a road trip every now and then. Third down coming up for Georgia State. Probably set a record for a ride in a Yellow Dog school bus, though. Georgia State is 0 for 7 on third down. Christian Baer, the signal caller, second year as a starter here. Pressured up the middle, gets rid of it, and beautiful catch and run by Javon Robinson. And Robinson is into the end zone for the Panthers. 43-yard strike. Longest play of the night for Georgia State.
Boy, the ball was a little high, and watch how Nick Cole responds to this. You're going to get an inside slant on the right side of your screen. It's going to come into the picture. The ball's a little high, and Cole is going to kind of flinch or jump, and that's that one step that allows the receiver to get to the inside, break a couple tackles, and that's the answer Georgia State has been needing. Defensive gave them opportunities. Offense has let them down, and this one just got a little interesting here with 5 minutes left in the first half, excuse me.
Yeah, they only needed 4 plays to cover those 75 yards and cut the lead down to 10 now. And Tom, Jordan, we got our support staff with Chris and Greg back with us again, so happy to be with you. The Austin Simmons show has hit a couple of snags. Maybe not his fault, but offensively, Ole Miss has just not been firing on all cylinders.
Little his fault. A couple of throws haven't been sharp, but really the offensive line to me has been the most glaring deficiency. And that was an area last year that we thought was going to be really good, kind of underperformed. They're just getting whooped right now up front by this Georgia State defensive line, and they really don't have an answer. And so maybe the answer is get the ball out quicker. We haven't seen a ton of RPOs, haven't seen a ton of quick throws to the perimeter. A lot of it's been downfield, but right now they are not able to block Henry Bryant, number 10 for Georgia State, and they need to have an answer.
Well, remember, Charlie Weiss Jr. told us we're going to do things like more condensed sets to help get our receivers up blocking second and third level. You start having those conversations as to you need those blocks to be able to help the run game get going. So that workaround has been a part of the plan through fall camp. Obviously not happening here tonight, though, but they had planned to just find different ways to be able to create some things in the run game.
Brandon McAllister puts it in the air. And no return. for Ole Miss. Well, Henry Bryant up front, the redshirt senior to Delray Beach, Florida. The Louisville transfer has been a wrecking ball.
Yeah, honorable mention, all Sun Belt Conference last year. Pencil him in for first team right now after this performance. It doesn't matter who's over him, whether it's P.J. Wilkins, Kudus, Sanders. No matter what, he's been in the backfield almost every single play. Not a good sign for one of the bigger question marks I had about this offense was the offensive line for Ole Miss. Right now, the 5'11", 285, 295-pound Henry Bryant is putting on a show.
This is his third stop. He started at Louisville for a couple of seasons, then to Troy, and now his second season with the Panthers. Bring the tight end right in, and they throw it out to the perimeter. A little shake and bake by Deuce Alexander. Maybe gets him another yard.
Love it. What did I just say? Quick throws to the perimeter, right? Get your athletes in space. That's a first down call. It's just a hitch route. What do you get? 8 yards? 2nd and 2. Love it.
Way ahead of schedule now. And so they'll try to run for it. And maybe a yard that time for Damian Taylor. And he is stopped short of the first down. So 3rd and less than 1.
Oh, big test here for this offensive line that's been much maligned for this game. 3rd and 1, you got to be able to get this. You're bigger, you're stronger up front, at least on paper.
Cole, is it who do you run behind or who do you run away from?
Well, it's going to be dependent on the front. You can't just go up and say, hey, we're going to go behind this offensive line. It depends on how the front is.
2 tight ends in the game, and it goes straight ahead from the quarterback position. That was Damian Taylor taking the direct snap.
I like the call. It's an odd front. So you get a 0 nose, and then you get 2 4 eyes, almost 5 techniques. So go right in the B gap between them where there's no human.
No human. You usually want to run where there's not a human.
Not a single one.
Yeah.
Well, Cole mentioned the odd front, the even front. That was a big question for Charlie Weiss because Travis Pearson is the first-time play caller on the defensive side for Georgia State. So they had a hard time finding film. Here's Simmons running with it, and he's able to pick up a first down with his legs. And they're going tempo here.
Yeah, trying to hit a big shot downfield. Nobody open, really good coverage. So Austin Simmons is the right thing. Tuck it. There's a little bit of that athleticism.
So they pull the ball back to the 50 where he started his slide and is able to escape the pocket again and gets taken down out of bounds. So Charlie Weiss was going through Travis Pearson's background, and he said, you know, he was at Alabama State. We had to look at that. We had to look at the Kane Womack stuff at South Alabama, the John Summerall stuff from Troy and Tulane. We watched all of this film. We still weren't sure what they were going to do. So we have this big staff. They got plenty of time. We went and looked through every one of their Instagram pictures to see if we could decipher whether or not they're running a 3 or a 4-man front. That is deep research, right? Let's turn to the social media. It's not like they have plays on there. They're just looking at the pics that they put out from fall camp.
And they did enough digging to realize I think they're going to base a little bit more of a 4-down front. I mean, that is some internet sleuthing if I've ever seen it.
I loved how he said we saw a couple of spring scrimmage highlights that we thought maybe that's what they're going to be in.
3rd and 1. And the first down run by Taylor. I just hope like whoever was doing it didn't accidentally slip and like a picture they weren't supposed to like.
Oh yeah, you never want to do that. Go like a picture from a year and a half ago. Uh-oh.
Yeah. Hey, you've been creeping
Red
on me.
flag.
Yeah, they did a deep dive on our staff, looking at everything. Approaching the 2-minute timeout. Ole Miss trying to answer the last Georgia State score. Play action, deep out route, and incomplete. Off the hands of Deuce Alexander, Wake Forest transfer.
Boy, and this is that throw earlier that he had to Caden Lee that I said you got to put it out in front of your receiver. Does a great job on this one. I mean, it literally hit Deuce Alexander in the face mask. Got to bring that one down.
Thought you were going to use a Coming to America quote there. Very disappointed in you.
Not one of the ones I can quote as well, you know.
Watch that on your flight tomorrow. Complete for the first down, and then take us to the 2-minute timeout as he hooks up with Caden Lee. An up and down performance so far for the sophomore from Miami, Austin Simmons. All right, thanks, fellas. Appreciate it. Great to be back with y'all. 3rd and 1 for Ole Miss. Simmons wants to throw, and out of the backfield, juggling, and finally held on by Caleb Odom. It's been that kind of night for Ole Miss. Like, nothing is smooth, nothing is perfect.
Yeah, nervous hands there for Caleb Odom. The Alabama transfer. Switched positions as well. Was a wide receiver in the spring. They've been banged up at tight end. He's a big-bodied 6'5", 235-pound receiver. Working him in at tight end a little bit.
Simmons delivers a hair wide. You watch a lot of Arch's game. They're going to talk about Texas. Yeah. Similarities in the first start with Austin Simmons and Arch Manning?
Well, it shouldn't, right? I mean, Arch got 2 starts, 3 games, a couple other drives in meaningful situations. Austin, really the only meaningful football he played last year was against Georgia, so I expect a little more of the nerves out of Austin. We saw those early. Seems like he's starting to shake those off. I love that they're going back to the quick game, getting the ball out of his hands quickly. I think Charlie Weiss there in the late first quarter was really big play hunting.
Yeah.
He just wants to blow this one back open, shake off the rust, and hit a big play, and it just hasn't been there. So getting back to this offense in tempo, working the quick game, that's when they're at their best.
13th play of the drive for Ole Miss and Austin Simmons. Simmons pulls it back, takes it himself, and takes it inside the 10. Ian Matthews to stop for Georgia State, under a minute to play. And Georgia State is going to use a timeout.
Timeout. Georgia State. They're first to the half. This will be a 30-second timeout.
Well, that stops the clock with 45 seconds. College football off and running. So great to have it back. Some of our week 1 storylines. They'll talk about that Ohio State win today. 3 top 10 matchups for the first time since 1950. And 4 SEC, ACC games, including Shane Beamer facing his former team. Play for Virginia Tech. They do it in Atlanta tomorrow. And Lee Corso made his final headgear pick. He went out a winner, put Brutus on for one more time, his first love.
Cheers.
That takes us back to October 2014. Corso picked Alabama over Ole Miss. Katy Perry did not like it. She was later seen stage diving at Funky's. They're going to change it up again. Simmons 5 for 6 this drive. And Chambliss, after the fake, ends up scampering out of bounds. I think the Katy Perry headgear pick, the way she reacted, the way she played the crowd with the corn dogs and everything else, that was one of the most iconic headgear picks we've seen.
All-timer. I mean, you saw the stare down there at the end with her hands up in the air. I don't think anybody had ever ripped the headgear off of Corso before.
I'm going to miss that. What a great way to start our Saturdays. No matter if you work in college football or just watch it, it brought a smile to my face every single time. 3rd and 5. Simmons back in at QB. Leaves it just short, and a spin and a stop. That was Stribling, and it'll bring up 4th and goal from the 2-yard line. Pardon me, 1st and goal.
First reception for Dejon Stribling as well, a guy I expected to get involved much sooner.
Under a half minute to play in the first half. Simmons hands it off, and Lacey reaches for the stripe. He's in. Another touchdown for Kewan Lacey. 2 touchdowns for the transfer from the University of Missouri. Played in 6 games with the Tigers last year. Immediate impact with the Rebels here in game 1.
And it was really close there to the goal line, but he is the perfect mixture of explosive speed when he needs it, as we get a good look here right down the line. Did look like the nose of that football got just across the front of that white line, but the mixture of explosive speed and physicality, right? The numbers aren't crazy right now. Oh, did it get across?
I don't know.
That is real close.
The ruling of a touchdown on the field is under review.
All he has to do is break the plane with the nose of the ball. As the elbow came down, the fact that his hand was in front of it precludes our vision. Also may have kept it from sneaking over the front of that plane.
Yeah, tough to tell. The hand covering the nose of the football there as we saw it down the line. It's a good look at it here. He's done a good job finding holes down here around the goal line. This one, the camera a little past the goal line here, so we're looking at it not quite straight down the line. The elbow is going to go down right there. Ball, as Tom mentioned, the nose of it you can't quite see.
I think one other element is it felt like he had full extension right before the elbow went down.
Right.
He may have broken the plane before the elbow went down.
Yeah, and then the ball kind of came down just short of it, possibly. I just don't see anything that's going to flip that back to being down at the 1. It's kind of the best shot down the line.
After further review, the ruling on the field has been upheld. Touchdown.
So, second rushing touchdown for Kewan Lacey. He was #2 running back in the country at Lancaster High School, 4-star recruit. Started playing for Eli Drinkwitz and now playing for Lane.
Yeah, Kiffin said we just haven't really had a guy like him. As I mentioned, the combination of speed and physicality since Quinshon. All right, just the ability to be a game breaker with your speed, but also between the tackles in the red zone, get the tough yards when you need it. He's done that a couple times for each of those touchdowns.
It was a 75-yard drive, in which Charlie Weiss Jr. milked nearly 5 minutes off the clock. Carnero punches it through. There's a flag on the play. Again, Williamson, our white hat.
It was a little early jump from one of the Georgia State guys. I think that'll. He's trying to get Lane.
Kent's trying to, yeah.
Kevin just like, we just made the field goal. Let's move on.
Yeah, take the point.
The offense coming back out onto the field here.
Offside. Defense 18. The penalty will be half the distance to the goal. We'll replay the try.
Interesting. You think they go for 2 now? Halfway?
Yeah. The offense is trotting out there. Trinidad Chambliss in the game. You can see the early jump there. All right, Chambliss, every time he's come in, it's been a quarterback run. Does that change here?
Well, let's go for Dos, brought to you by Dos Equis. Chambliss won a Division II national championship with Ferris State, from the GLIAC to the SEC now. They're loaded up to come up the middle. Chambliss fakes the toss, takes it himself, and he's in. So after the penalty, Lane goes for 2. And if they don't have QB run with Austin Simmons, they're able to supplement it with the play of Trinidad Chambliss. Here's a guy who didn't play his first 2 seasons at Ferris State in the Great Lakes Intercollegiate Athletic Conference, where he was the Conference Player of the Year. They won their 3rd national championship in a 4-year span. They knocked off Valdosta State. In the championship game, he had 3 touchdown passes, a touchdown run, and a touchdown catch. 51 touchdowns last year in 15 starts and 3,000 yards of offense. You see why Charlie Weiss Jr. and Lane Kiffin liked it.
I tell you what, just watching him down in the indoor pregame throwing with Austin Simmons, he has an absolute cannon as well. Extremely gifted. And one of those guys that they found in the spring portal, so didn't show up till summer, fall camp, and has picked up this offense really quickly.
By the way, he wasn't even their starting quarterback. Their starting quarterback broke his leg in game 2. Chambliss got an opportunity, and he never looked back.
Well, I hope that guy goes straight to the NFL then. I don't know why Chambliss was sitting on the bench. What is going on? This kid can play.
He was also an all-state basketball player, so I was find it fascinating. We talked with offensive coordinators. They have a run-first quarterback. How do you keep from being predictable when he enters the game?
Well, you have those 1 or 2 plays that you end up putting on tape at some point, right? Every coach is scared to lock in on one thing and say, oh, I know what's going to happen, because that's when you get beat 80 yards for a play action over the top. So that's why I wonder down on the goal line, is this going to be a little play action, pop pass or something like that? They always have a wrinkle that they put on tape, and then teams down the road at least have to play balanced or prepare to be balanced against a quarterback, even if he's going to run 80% of the time.
Austin Simmons, 228 yards, a touchdown and 2 picks, and coming up at the half, you can flip over on the ESPN app for a live performance of the Pride of the South marching band. It's on SEC Network Plus. Simmons on his first drive went 3 for 3 with the touchdown pass, but after that a pair of picks and inconsistent offensive line play for this Ole Miss team, which is breaking in 3 brand new starters on that old line. They end up putting up 25 points in the first half. They'll get the ball in the second half. Here's Cole with Lane.
Coach, you told us when we met with you yesterday, condensed sets, some different things formationally you want to do to help out your run game. You've given up some penetration to slow it down here today. What else can you guys do to maybe get it going in the second half?
Well, not turn the ball over first. You know, we moved the ball extremely well, barely had third downs, and you know, we have a poor decision by Austin in the red zone on the pick, and the one before it, we're beat at right guard. The guy's open for a 70-yard touchdown. So we gave up 1 play on defense. So we're really playing really well. We just got the turnovers and the 1 play on defense.
Specifically, how would you describe Austin's first half?
I like everything he did, but the 1 play. So, you know, in a way, that's a pretty good half.
Not bad. Thanks, Coach.
All right, thanks.
Yeah, all but 1 mistake. We both made more than that already tonight. Let's get it to 3 guys who haven't made a single mistake all day, nor will they the rest of the night. Dari is standing by with his cohorts. Gentlemen. Opening night in the SEC, Austin Simmons got off to a rollicking start, and Ole Miss is halfway to a 50-burger, even though it hasn't been smooth sailing with the lead over Georgia State. Tom Hart, Jordan Rogers, and Cole Kubalik down on the field, looking for a little bit more consistency out of multiple positions in the second half.
No doubt. It was really the turnovers that were most glaring in the first half and the offensive line play. But as Cole talked to Lane Kiffin, he said, look, my quarterback, Austin Simmons, played great. The one mistake maybe on an interception, the other interception wasn't his fault. So 330 yards in the first half is not bad, although it felt kind of up and down at times.
We get a further breakdown if we watch the hottest show in college television. I mean, Cole is going to break down how important the tight end has been. But still, first, Austin Simmons will get another crack at it when they receive the kick here in a moment. Do you think Lane was fair in his criticism at the half, or did you see it a little bit differently?
Well, look, I think Austin struggled with a few throws. I think there was the one interception that was his fault. One interception was not his fault, but I feel like he really hit his stride in the second quarter. The quick game started to pick up. He was more accurate. The plays were there. Started to really get into a rhythm. We got to remember, this is his first start. He hasn't played much meaningful football until tonight.
All right, let's read and react, Cole.
Run game has been a struggle for the Ole Miss offense. How do you manage that? Well, you use different formations. Tight end, you're going to see Daquan Wright. Watch him push through the middle of the line of scrimmage. He's going to insert here. Look at those two linebackers react, fly to the line of scrimmage. That's going to open up coverage down the field, give you more favorable coverages. Well, you saw those linebackers attack him. Watch him try to attack here again. Whoop, going to slip right through, wide open over the middle of the field. So usage of that tight end in different formations. Charlie Leishway and Kiffin going to use those things to try to help up things in the run game and get this Ole Miss offense rolling.
Cole, I like the way you roll up your sleeves like you're working election night. Like you are just in the thick of it.
Well, Harrisburg here has got the polls out. We're about 40% here until we're going to close it up. So we won't know until 2 in the morning on that one, Tom. But back to you.
2nd and 10 now after the incompletion. Ole Miss got off to such a hot start offensively. Each of their first 8 plays garnered a first down. Now, slowed down since then, obviously. Simmons throwing a couple of picks, so he will take off running. He's got such an interesting background. He was homeschooled. That allowed him to graduate way early. And then he went to Pahokee High School. You're homeschooled in Florida. You can pick wherever you want to play your sports. So he had about a 2-hour drive from his house to Pahokee High School for football. There's a football power, and he gets hogtied here and dropped with a sack by Josiah Robinson. Then in the spring, he went and played at True North Classical Academy. We sat down with Austin yesterday. I said, Austin, I don't want to make any assumptions, but we know what Pahokee is about. They're in the muck. True North Classical Academy is a charter school. I imagine your teammates were on either end of the socioeconomic spectrum. How has that helped you be a better leader and teammate? He's like, gosh, I hadn't thought about that. Playing travel ball throughout baseball, pressured again. And on the run, delivers a dime to Trey Wallace, who turns it upfield and now bends it back towards the middle. And the idea, Jordan, that you play with such a wide variety of cultures in every football locker room, and he's already been through that with multiple teams.
Yeah, as a leader, especially as a quarterback, you have to be able to motivate and as we get a little handoff here, you got to be able to motivate guys, and you got to be able to speak to guys of different backgrounds. Some guys respond really well to you getting on them, getting in their face, telling them exactly what you think. And other guys, you need to be a little softer with. You need to pat them on the butt a little bit. Yeah. So being able to be in 2 diverse situations where you learn how to be a leader at each one, I think is very valuable for college football from a quarterback's perspective.
Here's an open run by Kewan Lacey. And Lacey's looking for his 3rd of the night. 42-yard run for Kewan Lacey. It's a 3-touchdown night for the transfer running back. Third Mississippi player with multiple rushing touchdowns in his debut since 2000. BenJarvus Green-Ellis did it. Scotty Phillips did it. And now Kewan Lacey tallies another. There's an injured Panther on the play. And so Fuchsius Lewis will be helped off the field as Ole Miss lines up to go for 1. Lucas Carnero. 32-7. Let's take a look at this touchdown run by Kewan Lacey.
Yeah, look, Georgia State's going to bring a cat corner. They're going to bring a blitz from the corner to the boundary. He's going to come, and Lacey's going to push it up and then cut this back. And watch the block here by Diego Pounds. Just pile driving the left side. Great push. Lacey does a really good job of getting north and then cutting to the left, avoiding that cat corner that's coming on the pressure that has support on that side. And then you see the game-breaking speed that Lane Kiffin was talking about, and a little windmill to finish it up.
Yeah, bringing the basketball goal back one more time.
We tried that out one time on the sidelines. It didn't work out so well for you.
I finished. I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah.
I mean, it went in the basket.
That's all that matters.
Style points are about a 2 out of 10.
I am the least stylish person in this entire building.
But you know our friend Cole Kulik, don't you?
Cole won a slam dunk contest just last week.
That was all Judge.
No return this time. Cole, we're talking about Austin Simmons' background playing at 2 different high schools, baseball on one side, football on the other. You talked to his dad, Dave, but how do you think that impacted him as a leader?
I thought it was a brilliant question that you asked about leadership, dealing with different individuals, and Dave said, no, that wasn't actually part of the plan, even though Austin told us, yeah, it's going to be beneficial. His father, Dave Tom, told me it would have been malpractice to allow him to play baseball at Pahokee. He said, what? They play baseball, but, you know, they don't play baseball. He said, Austin would have hurt some of those kids throwing the baseball at him if he'd have played with those kids over at Pahokee. So felt like Austin was a little bit further along than maybe what the Pahokee kids were putting on the baseball field.
Surprised he doesn't have a smile on his face right now. Austin originally committed to play for Kevin O'Sullivan at Florida. Ended up here as the understudy to Jackson Dart.
Well, I love staying with baseball. Tom, you asked him kind of about changing the arm angles, and Jordan was like, you know, baseball, arm angle, this, that, whatever. And you said, well, if you throw so hard, like, why don't you throw sidearm like you do in baseball? And he said, oh, I can throw the expletive of baseball sidearm.
Well, which goes into his pitch repertoire, right? I mean, it's a fastball that sits in the mid-90s. Mike Bianco, the head baseball coach here at Ole Miss, said this guy didn't play that much baseball, right? He was splitting his time between 2 sports. He was going to be at least a second or third rounder, would have been in our rotation.
False start, offense number 54, 5-yard penalty. It remains second down.
In fact, he sealed a key win, Mike Bianco's 1,000th win as Ole Miss head coach. Game 2 of a doubleheader on a Saturday in Athens. This is Charlie Condon, SEC Player of the Year, 3rd overall pick in the draft. And Austin said, good morning, good afternoon, good night. 3 sliders to dispatch a record-setting hitter.
I thought it was pretty cool. I asked Lane Kiffin, look, everybody in the country got introduced to Austin Simmons on that drive versus Georgia last year.
Yeah.
I said, was there a moment in practice when he first showed up that you knew he was going to be something special? Obviously, I was referencing football.
Sure.
He goes, oh, yeah, that right there, what we just showed.
Oh, we got a pick and a big man rumbling. Xavier Harris with the takeaway. Threw it right at his numbers. And that'll set up the Rebels with a short field. And now the big fella gonna rock the rim. Hello and goodbye.
He broke it.
He snapped it in half. Wow. He went Shaq Fu on that bad boy.
All 6'8", 330 pounds. Watch Xavier Harris. Come on. Yeah, he did get the legs up like Shaq. Someone's got to put a little more sand or water in that base.
No, he broke it in half.
Oh, my gosh. This is why we can't have nice things.
If there is a welder in the immediate area, please report to Vaught Hemingway Stadium. Simmons under center, a handoff to Deuce Alexander. Down to the 11. Cole?
Tom, you mentioned it. I don't know if it was broke more than dislodged, but literally, look at this. It took the entire thing out of the frame. Just out, completely out, done.
Yeah.
They're gonna take the logo off because he ripped it out of the goal?
I don't know.
Look, how do you dunk it and it comes out of the...
They need to call up Gorilla Gold and get a real one installed.
That's probably
here.
the first time he's ever got to do that, right? He never even envisioned having the opportunity to dunk the basketball. It's the receivers and the running backs.
The best part is you're in full pads, too. You have a helmet and shoulder, so you can just go full Shaq Fu, and it doesn't matter. You're not going to hurt yourself. You knew that was happening, by the way.
Do they have a backup basketball goal back there that go across the street from the pavilion?
I'll find out for you. I don't even know where they're taking that one.
Wow. What got lost in that is...
on the field with the ball reached line to gain. Previous plays under review.
All right, I have word from the equipment staff that they think they have another one. They're going to try to get another one. So there you go. Maybe that's why they took the logo off that one.
Yeah, this guy's slapping on the new one.
I was about to say, what got lost in that is what a good play that was by a big defensive lineman. He read the quarterback's eyes the entire way, and that ball got thrown pretty hard, only about 8 yards away, and he came down with it. We are so distracted by the dunk. I have no idea what what is going on right now.
I don't know. They're looking for a new basketball goal.
I don't think anything got lost in our conversation there, actually. They ripped the top of the basketball goal out of the bottom of it.
They want to make sure they get the spot right. Kewan Lacey's knee is not down until there, so the ball should be a first down. By the way, Lacey's the first Ole Miss player with 3 rushing touchdowns in a season opener since Artie Moore did it against the Vandals of Idaho State in 1996.
Artie?
Yeah.
A little two-sport athlete, Artie was.
My bad.
After further review,
The Bengals.
the runner has been ruled down to the 9.5-yard line. That will result in a first down for Ole Miss.
That's a good review. Call overturned. Good work, fellas. Idaho State Bengals.
I thought for a second they were actually reviewing for a possible unsportsmanlike penalty on
for hanging on the rim.
Yeah, on the ring. Yeah,
you would get teed up for that for sure. Come off the rails, and we're not even 5 minutes into the third quarter. Cole, I expect a full breakdown on Read and React Monday night.
Yes.
I don't know. That can't be Block Party. What do we rename that? Destruction Party?
Yeah. You'll think of something. Out of the pistol now. Simmons with Lacey. Goes play action. Swings it out. And to the pylon. It's Caleb Odom. Touchdown, Ole Miss. Four-yard touchdown catch for number 4, Caleb Odom.
Well, Caleb Odom is going to be a really fun wrinkle for Charlie Weiss and Lane Kiffin in this offense. Great extension there to get over the pylon for the touchdown. I mentioned the Alabama transfer at 6'5", 235 pounds, was a receiver. But coming out in high school, he was actually the number 3 overall rated tight end and H-back. And because of some of the injuries, Luke Haas, the transfer from Arkansas that was injured, they moved him to tight end, and he's going to have an opportunity to make an impact in this offense as a big-bodied wide receiver that can block and mix it up as well.
In the first half, the challenge was getting the offense on track and allowing the offensive line to clear some space. In the second half, the challenge is how can we fix this backboard? Odom with the dunk with an exclamation point on his touchdown. It came after the interception from the big fella up front, Xavier Harris. And the celebration took him to the sideline. He didn't just rock the rim. He yanked this bad boy right out of the stanchion. We need another basketball goal. 39-7. Ole Miss with the lead over Georgia State in a season opener for both. Do you think those blue blazers ever get dry cleaned?
Oh, probably not.
Probably not.
Just smell like old beer.
Old beer was once fresh beer. Time to get a word from our friends at Academy Sports and Outdoors.
There's no I in team, but there is an M, an E, an A, and a T.
Back to the drawing board for Georgia State. They'll bring out their second-string quarterback Cameron Brown out of Northside Warner Robins in Warner Robins, Georgia, and then played in the Texas Tech system last season. Great penetration up front. And Rashad Amos maybe picks up a yard.
Tom quickly spoke to Dale McGee, Georgia State head coach, right before the second half began. He said third downs are critical. Offense has to find a way to continue drives. We're going to continue to play both quarterbacks. They just want to get these guys reps and get them ready for the rest of the season. And he said defensively, we got to find a way to make Ole Miss punt. Simple as that.
Well, they haven't done it yet. They do have 2 takeaways. Georgia State just 1 for 8 on third downs tonight. Good push up front again, and a great break on the ball, but it draws a flag. Ed Hurst, the intended receiver.
Pass interference, defense number 32. The penalty will place the ball at the spot of the foul and includes an automatic first down.
That's Chris Graves playing behind Antonio Kite at one cornerback position.
Yeah, just trying to come over the top and make a play here. Obviously, way too early with the contact. Tried to keep his left arm off the body, but ended up making contact. You know, they have not got Ted Hurst involved at all.
Right.
4 targets, 0 receptions from the best player on this Georgia State offense. They got to find a way to just get him a quick touch, get him back in this game.
Instead, they'll try to ground and pound, and Amos is able to pick up 5.
You go back to what Jordan said about Ted Hurst. Think about what Pete Golding, how much he talked about #1 for this Georgia State offense. We met with him, said we're going to try to put Antonio Kite on him. We're going to try to man him up. Said we've got to put a safety over the top of him some. He said we just have to make sure that this young man doesn't go out and take over the game, and hasn't really had the opportunity to even attempt that yet.
You know, Cole, I would add we had a wonderful visit with Sage Ryan yesterday, LSU transfer, first year in this program and a leader on that defensive unit. And he talked about the defensive game plan of zeroing in on #1. And I said, you played against some pretty good wide receivers in your years in the SEC. Who would he compare to? Who's the best? And he stopped and the wheels were turning and he said, I can't. You play against an elite wide receiver every week in this league. At least one.
There's a laundry list of guys in this league the last couple of seasons on every single roster. Some of them playing on other rosters this year.
Yep. They're down 4.
He's going to get man coverage with Antonio Kite once again here at the top of the screen.
Kite, former Alabama point guard signee. Transferred in from Auburn. And then instead checked down and go to Leo Blackburn, and he is immediately swarmed. A frenzy on the ball. That'll be a loss of at least 3. Taj Chambers, first man there. How did the coverage on Hurst turn to a check down?
It ended up not being man. Kite's going to bail out over the top, and his safety's going to come down right here and kind of double a little bracket inside and over the top on Hurst, try to take away the easy slant or the hitch throw.
Is it, as a quarterback, is it easy to see what that coverage is?
No, because I was looking at it from up here, and I got a better view essentially than Cameron Brown does, and I thought it was going to be man coverage, so a great disguise and late roll there by the safety.
Trey Wallace back to receive this punt. Beautiful kick from Reed Chanley, drives them all the way back to the 7. Harris crawls over the 25 out to the 26-yard line. 39-7. Lane's team looking to add to it.
Dart obviously upset, the physical pain that sends him into the medical tent. So that means it'll be Austin Simmons as the quarterback. Cool as a cucumber so far. Simmons, another throw on target into the end zone. It's going to be the highest ranked home win in school history. You can't forget what Austin Simmons did in this game.
Narration by Sean McDonough, and Austin Simmons got off to a whale of a start here. He's the first southpaw quarterback here at Ole Miss since Brent Schaefer played for Coach O back in 2007. 16 of 22 tonight for 261 and a pair of scores. I think, Jordan, whether it's Arch Manning or Austin Simmons or even Garrett Nussmeier tonight, every coach wants to look at their quarterback on opening night and say, is this something we can build on?
No doubt. And the numbers will tell you one story. They're going to get in the film room and really talk about the decision making. And I think the decision making after that interception that I put on him, which was in the end zone, decision making has been really good. The accuracy has been there really since middle of the second quarter from Austin Simmons after a little bit of a rocky start.
There's a flag on that return, a block in the back, and it's got him backed up to the 8. And now movement up front will back him up again.
False start. Offense number 72. Half the distance to the goal. Remains first down.
I'll tell you what, if they, because they did a really good job, and we've seen flashes of it tonight, of putting talent around Austin Simmons. I love Kewan Lacey. We've seen a lot of him. Haven't seen a ton of Deshaun Stribling, but he's really talented. Wallace has had some opportunities. Caleb Odom. Daquan Wright. There's a lot of talent around him. If this offensive line can come together and just be good, they don't need to be dominant, but they've been bad tonight. I know it's week 1, and you got 2 transfers starting. You got a couple of guys that haven't played a ton of football outside Diego Pounds. That's the piece that if they can come together, this Ole Miss team can make a little bit of a run. I know last year was the last dance, and it was all in.
Yeah.
This year, not a lot of pressure on this program because there is a lot of unknown, but the talent tells me that they could be really good.
Cole, what's the expectation in terms of how offensive line groups, whatever.
There it is.
It's going to be.
You went for it.
I did.
Well, there's no synchronized swimming in offensive line play. However, continuity, gel, chemistry, it's all important. It all takes a ton of time in which these guys have not had.
Synchronicity would be something that would be wonderful if they could. So
I think you should make that word up and just get it in the dictionary. But think
the
about
ceiling,
this.
though, right? The opportunity for growth from game 1 to game 2 for an offensive line.
I think that group has more opportunity to grow further across the course of a season in today's college football than any other position group.
Lane was pretty point blank about the O-line struggles last season. He said, we didn't execute. We didn't execute. Runs well. In 22, we had a line that could get us into the right spots. They had a great feel for the run game, for the concepts, for how defenders play, for how to block, leverage.
And I think that's the disappointing part, Tom. It's understandable if you don't have a bunch of Laramie Tunsil's or Terrence Metcalfs. Like, not every team's going to have those kind of guys. But he and Charlie Weiss Jr. both emphasized a lack of execution by the offensive line the last couple of years. That's the part that you cannot withstand. You can't turn guys loose. You can't get blown up at the line of scrimmage. You're not all going to be earth movers, and that's fine. But you still should know how to execute, use your fundamentals, use your technique, and be able to get the job done. I will say this. There's a couple guys that aren't healthy right now. Delano Townsend from UAB, Terez Davis from Maryland. Those two get healthy. It could be big adds for this team down the road.
Simmons with the overthrow for Trey Wallace as Georgia State brought a corner blitz. He got taken down by Marlon Dean with the pressure. And they'll have to punt it away.
I think I even caught myself. We're being very critical right now. That offensive line is the one unit that needs 5 guys to work together, right? Receivers run their own routes. Quarterback has other guys that are involved. They all
can go out
depend
there
on
and
each
throw
other.
passes all day long.
Exactly.
Like, what's the last offensive line that went out there and said, we blocked a D-line today during the summer? Like, you don't do that. You don't put shoulder pads on.
Oscar Bird's first punt is an absolute boomer. There's a flag back at the 12-yard line, though, on what was a 4th and 10. That was a 59-yard punt for Bird. It's after 3 seasons of Aussie football with the Perth Football Club. West Australian Football
Illegal
League.
formation, kicking team, not enough players on the line of scrimmage, 5-yard penalty, the previous spot, will be 4th down.
And Bird will have a chance to do it again. Cole, I know you spent some time on the basketball court lately. Oscar Bird had a chance to change his number. So with Bird on the nameplate, he went with number 33. You approve?
Yeah, he's a kicker. I really don't care what he does. I mean,
you got to have a little.
No relation to Larry.
You got to have a little more lettuce coming out the back of your helmet, maybe a mustache, and then you can represent 33 with the Bird.
But let's also be real. 33, not necessarily a prolific football number over time. So probably not one that guys were fighting him for.
Well, he could change it. He could change all of that. And that one checks up like one of Jordan's wedges and comes back across midfield. Hey, special thanks to our friend Jennifer Pasco at City Grocery. The dinner last night was simply amazing, and the banana pudding should be illegal. We had a little drama pregame. Ole Miss was entering its locker room, and Tyler Scott, defensive back for Georgia State, decided to snatch somebody's chain. And not only that, but he decided to do it for Xavier Harris. Law enforcement got involved. Del McGee, their head coach, was not at all happy. See the chain in his hand, decides to toss it into the stands. Even if his teammates are like, dude, what are we doing here? We haven't seen Tyler Scott in the game. The Auburn transfer was listed as a quarterback that should see some action, and he is likely rethinking his decision making.
I think the only thing maybe dumber than that I've seen was when a Missouri player even made a slight attempt to do that to Jalen Carter pregame in Como a couple of years ago.
Not the guy you want to pick up.
No.
No. Stretch for DJ Braswell, and he's got a stiff arm at the end. That was a first down run for the former Gamecock.
Another one of those guys that Dell McGee recruited in high school, ended up choosing South Carolina, former 4-star, ESPN's 15th running back, top 300 recruit. I mean, Georgia State's obviously not going to win this game, but there's a lot of talent that they have accumulated. I think they got a chance to be a lot better than the 3-9 product that we saw last year, outside of that one game against Vandy where they looked really good.
Yeah, they won that one in the last 15 seconds as Branson Robinson takes it over the right side.
I'll tell you this, Jordan, you mentioned talent, and winning games, there could be even more talent added to this roster that will be a familiar name to SEC fans here in a couple of days.
Do tell.
And Cole's going to keep that one hush-hush.
His mic seems to go out at the most inopportune time.
Yeah, you see there the recruiting rankings for a couple of those guys that came from Georgia and South Carolina, and Braswell and Robinson.
2nd and 5. Maybe a yard. I mean, it's right in Del McGee's wheelhouse, right? I mean, he's in SEC territory.
It's relationships. He's got the relationships.
Yes.
And a lot of kids need a reset. They need a restart. I love the approach that Del McGee told us he takes with these guys, because he had multiple players leave and multiple players that are probably going to leave after this year. And he said, I tell him, go get your bag, man. Like, come here, improve your value, find another place to go. If they're going to give you X amount of dollars, go get it.
Back into the hands of Cameron Brown, who's got a pass and a catch on the same play.
Cameron Brown handed on his bingo card to get a reception today, but a little heads-up play.
Sean Womack had the deflection, and they'll keep the offense on the field, plus territory, looking at a 4th and 4. Two for 3 on 4th down tonight. And Georgia State will use the timeout. They're getting tardy in the play clock. 39-7. Hey, it's the end of a run. Our fantastic producer, Bill Palladino, has been with us for 5 years every night on SEC Saturday night. There's a look at our fantastic truck. There's Billy. He is moving on, got promoted to another crew. So his final game with us tonight, and we will do everything in our power in the next quarter and 4 minutes to make his life as hard as possible.
Miserable. Yeah.
Do you think we didn't do a good enough job of that last 5 years?
No, we did a pretty good job of it. Billy P, we love you, but all of you that don't know this, I have a button right here that says talkback.
Yeah.
And it mutes my mic like this right now. I could talk right there, you can't hear me, but that's Billy's ear. And so sometimes I just like to say really random things and frustrate him during the middle of the game. So
thanks, Billy. You made all of us better. And you're going to make the next group better, too. We'll be producing a playoff game this December. 39-7, 4th and 4 for Ole Miss. Cameron Brown facing pressure, 4-man rush. Escaped one and leaves it short, trying to work it to Ted Hurst. Deshaun Womack was the first man there to turn him around. Princewell Umanmielen. Royalty, 2nd man in.
Yeah, Womack is going to come unblocked off the side here. So Brown's got to get it to his running back in the flat right now. You got no option. Your offensive line sliding to the left. You got a free rusher on the right. That ball's got to be out really quick. You got to understand that and see that pre-snap. He obviously didn't. And a big stop for Ole Miss.
Another thing you like on that rep is watching Xavier Harris, 51. We mentioned this with Pete Golding, talked about the pad level. It was an issue for him last year. He was the penetrator on that twist on the left side of the offensive line that got the pressure home, kept that pad level low, drove right through the line of scrimmage, and allowed things to open up. He keeps his pad level low. He's going to be a dominant force in the SEC.
Tough for a guy that's 6'8".
A little bit.
Yeah. And they stretch it to the edge again with Deuce Alexander. I believe 2nd and a couple here in the 3rd quarter. You think Austin Simmons finishes the 3rd?
Yeah, I think this might be the last drive for Austin Simmons. Obviously, you'd love to get some more game reps for your backup, Trinidad Chambliss, a guy that showed up in summer who's looked really, really good, but doesn't have a ton of, excuse me.
Billy Leavens got you choked up, huh?
Use the talkback button you were talking about there.
I just did. Wow, yeah, I was pressing the cough button there. You'd love to get Chambliss some more reps in this offense. He's new to it.
Down the sideline. Whoa! What a catch by Wallace. He did not catch it. Okay.
Jordan, where are you, though, on the reps for Austin Simmons? You say you want to get reps for your backup, but he hasn't had a lot of reps in game either. How does that change the mindset?
That's a really good point. And you got transfer receivers here like Trey Wallace that probably should have used 2 hands on that one. It's a really good throw.
I don't know. I thought it was a good
Simmons. So I get that, Cole, but also 39-7. You get in the 4th quarter.
And a breakthrough by Kewan Lacey again. The biggest takeaway tonight may be the play of Kewan Lacey in this Ole Miss running back room, which has plenty of depth behind him. He's over 100 yards on just 15 carries.
Yeah, adds an element to that group that they didn't have. And as I mentioned earlier, haven't had since Quinshon Judkins. The game-changing speed with the physicality to go downhill and run somebody over if you need to.
This time for Wallace, and over the shoulder, but out of bounds.
Wow, dialed it up again over the top to Wallace. And this time just a pinky toe out of bounds. That time the ball from Austin Simmons maybe pulled him out. Oh, a full foot out of bounds.
Is your whole foot made out of a pinky toe?
Well, let's not talk about my feet, Tom. We're on air. That one maybe Austin could have left in the field to play a little bit more for Wallace. He had 3 or 4 steps there of separation.
Wallace had a touchdown against Ole Miss in the Peach Bowl when he was with Penn State. Here's Deuce Alexander. Maybe a hair short. Be 3rd and less than a yard. And a direct snap to Kewan Lacey. What's interesting, now they line up in the shotgun, and the center, Bryson Sanders, Cole, just sends it to the running back instead of the quarterback.
Just getting good leverage right there in a short yardage situation, get enough push to be able to open things up. You like to see it, base, especially with some of the struggles they had earlier in the game.
So 1st and 10. And here's Damian Taylor. 4 years at Troy, played in 39 games last year, was 2nd team all-conference in the Sun Belt Rush for over 1,000 yards. And was one of the top big play rushers in the nation, number 18 in the country in 20-yard or more rushes. Senior out of Northport, Alabama.
Caleb Odom checking back into the game, the big athletic tight end.
Dangerous down here.
Hybrid, yeah, this is a great area for him. Number 4, he's a good blocker, but this is also an area they like to sneak him through the line of scrimmage.
Lefty goes to his right, gets hit, drops a football, and somehow bounced right back to him.
And they were trying to go to Odom there, sneaking behind the line of scrimmage, selling that split zone, leaking him into the flats, wasn't there, and Austin Simmons got lucky there. This one bounced right back to him. Helmet right on the football. That's a frustrating one. Every quarterback gets a little selfish in that situation down, but they go, I just want another touchdown. I'll go sit on the sideline and take my helmet off.
You know, one aspect of his game we didn't talk about is how he looks up to other left-handed quarterbacks. Mike Vick,
yeah,
one of the guys that he really looked up to, 28-yard field goal attempt. You asked him on the phone yesterday what he thought about the best left-handed quarterbacks in college football history.
Yeah.
And you kept trying to tee him up for Tim Tebow, and he would not say Tebow. Unbeknownst to him, Tebow was right off of your computer
screen. Right next to me, listening to it on speakerphone, getting a haircut. Obviously, Tim, for being one of the all-time greats, so humble, so he didn't care. But yeah, I was like, well, anybody else, you know? I know Mike Vick, but a little more recent.
What about Tim Tebow? No, not him.
He goes, no.
Now a 33-yard attempt for Lucas Carnero. I think Timmy's Q rating perhaps has gone down a little bit. We need to fix that. 42-7 after the field goal with 20 seconds left in the 3rd quarter. You know, we're talking before this game about where Ole Miss fits in the league, and there is a large group of middle-tier programs that are going to be fighting for real estate all season long.
The group might got larger, but just for the sake of argument, let's take these guys out of it, and let's take these guys out of it, right? So this big group right here and this group right here, there's a lot of movement that could happen in the middle of the SEC. You got teams like South Carolina trying to reload the defense. Florida with DJ Lagway, one of the best quarterbacks in the country. What are they going to look like? A&M and Marcel Reed in the defense that's reloaded there. Tennessee with Joey Aguilar. I mean, there are so many question marks across the board.
So the bottom line, from 5 to 12 in the preseason poll, according to YouTube, from South Carolina down to Missouri, they're not only fighting over real estate, but the margin for error is so slim with an 8-game schedule to try and climb through those standings. Yeah. I'd love to know what's going to be the differentiator for some of those teams.
The quarterback play, right? All those teams have good quarterbacks with a lot of potential. We saw Bo Pribula have a huge night. He was a big unknown. We saw Jackson Arnold look like flashes of the Oklahoma Jackson Arnold from a bowl game. We're like, hey, this kid could be really good.
John Mateer had 392 and 3 touchdowns tonight. Another rushing touchdown.
John Mateer, one of the most talented guys in the country as well. Quarterback play is going to be the differentiator for those middle tier teams. And we're seeing one tonight in Austin Simmons that's a guy that could take this team to new heights as well.
I'll throw you a massive curveball, Tom, one that's really going to surprise you, and I'm going to go line of scrimmage because I just think that almost no one has depth at that position.
The lineman wants to talk the big boys.
But
Shocker.
not just offensive line, defensive line. I'll give you an example. Tennessee today, that defensive line looked like it has not missed a beat. They look dominant, and then the offensive line, which we all thought was going to be a liability, looked pretty good against the Syracuse team that's added some nice talent to their roster under Fran Brown.
For UT, 5 sacks, 7 tackles beyond the line of scrimmage, and 10 passes broken up in the 45-26 win. Further conversation, maybe programs like Texas and Alabama fall back to the pack with their losses.
Just makes it more crowded. And I think the way that we would define it, whether it's Jordan quarterback, me line of scrimmage, the definition of those teams would all be very similar. And it's that we have a couple things that we love about those teams, and we have a couple things that we have no idea about with those teams.
You know how close the race will be? It'll be as close as the race was between Michael Jordan and the human highlight reel Dominique Wilkins in a dunk contest. I mean, it could be a 1-point difference. Ole Miss slamming it home tonight. Saturday night, presented by T-Mobile 5G home internet. Tom Jordan Cole. First weekend of SEC action. We got some Saturday storylines. This was the game to get things started. First preseason AP #1 to lose first game since 1990. Joey Aguilar and Tennessee able to get a Atlanta win over the Cuse. Jackson Arnold threw for 100, ran for 100 in his Auburn debut. And Bama with its first ever August loss. And we're going to Tuscaloosa next Saturday.
Yeah.
Be an interesting scenario there.
That's a gut punch for that program that I think had a lot of confidence. I said earlier today I thought they were going to be a dark horse to make a playoff run with the addition of Ryan Grubb, the offensive coordinator, with Ty Simpson, who I think is incredibly talented. It just did not go their way. Florida State, Gus Malzahn taking the reins there, the offense.
Here's Ted Hurst finally getting in on the action.
But if only there would have been, you know, an analyst or anybody out there in the media that would have told you that it was a possibility that Arch Manning would struggle today, that he wasn't automatically the #1 overall pick, the Heisman winner before he ever stepped on a field and played a meaningful snap.
I'm not usually awake when all those morning shows are on, but I'm aware that you did make an appearance. And some people labeled you a hater.
Oh,
are you taking a victory lap? Here comes the pressure from Ole Miss.
Absolutely.
Holding.
I get on Get Up and I say, hey, look, the hype doesn't quite match the tape. And everyone all of a sudden thinks I just can't, I hate Arch Manning. I'm just like, no, he just hasn't played a lot of good defenses. There's a chance he goes and struggles. And he did. Look, he's going to be really good. And you saw flashes.
Offense number 69.
As we got a holding call right there. You saw flashes at the end of the game of Arch's ability. A couple big throws, a touchdown throw, a big one down the left sideline. It was just a little too late. But Texas, they got to figure that out. They need Arch to get going, develop a little quicker.
We had the game on in Cole's suite today. Cole, what did you take away after watching Texas?
The biggest concern is still the biggest concern. That's that offensive line.
Yeah.
Arch Manning did not have great protection, didn't have a lot of time to set some things up. I do think that Sark called a little bit of a vanilla game early on, kind of started to open it up later. And Ohio State might not be completely off the map like some of us thought.
Let's go to the Higginbotham hotline for more on that.
We'll go to Game Day Men's Health afterwards. You can figure it out.
From the 17, a little shake and a flag. And that'll keep us here for another minute. And out to the 35-yard line, 52-yard punt. And 17 on the return. Lane Kiffin is 19-2 in non-conference games since taking over. And those two losses both came in the postseason. He has not lost a regular season non-conference game. That hurt Ole Miss last year. Soft schedule, first 4, got them all out of the way. Then Kentucky, LSU.
Player out of bounds, number 32. A 5-yard penalty will be enforced from the end of the return. First down.
So an extra 5 on it. And we step away for 2.5 minutes. Ole Miss 42, Georgia State 7. The line for the library has already started to grow. Try the Funky's Pizza though. We had the app fired up today, and well, the line is now getting longer at Funky's. This is what happens when you get a blowout. They're going to beat us to the square.
Yeah. How are we going to get in? You still got to connect there?
Yeah, Lee's got us. We'll take care of it. Quick one for Ole Miss. And a Rebel first down. 42-7 is the Rebels' lead, trying to go to 20-2 against non-conference opponents all time. Under Lane Kiffin. And that's a strike. And that's 6. Trey Wallace from Austin Simmons. Austin Simmons has thrown for 341 yards and 3 touchdowns in his starting debut.
Well, you know, Austin didn't get the touchdown on that last drive where he said he probably wanted to end his night on another touchdown. So he came back and he got it.
Got it. Get another kicker into the game. This is Max Baker.
You know what I love? Cole was talking about condensed splits. Watch this condensed split right here. What this does is when you start inside, you get leverage on the corner. He's able to bend it back, and then if you see the safety, it always helps when you get inside leverage and then the safety just falls down. You know, that's
Is that how you draw it up?
You can drop really good plays and have a great plan and this read to this read, and if we leverage this guy, but if someone falls down, it really just helps.
You know what happens after you make a big play? You get this. That's pretty smooth.
Now you got 3 guys holding the basketball hoop after.
Well, I did ask if they got a reserve, and they said they had to go get the one they used last year to make up for the one that was broken. And Tom, you were right. They did have multiple equipment managers holding the previous goal in place that was ripped in half. So not sure what the strategy was for that, but there you go.
Maybe our friends at Academy can help these guys out. You just get one that's collapsible, that's on wheels. You can move it up and down the side.
Yeah.
Baker to handle the kickoff duties now. You know, it's been a good night when you're able to get your second string kicker some action. And an opportunity to bring it out. Why not roll the dice? TJ Payton bottled up inside the 20. How about the day for Austin Simmons?
Yeah, he rebounded after a couple early mistakes. Again, one his fault, maybe one not his fault, but I love the touch that Austin Simmons is able to put on the outside. He's got athleticism that you saw. Reminds you a little bit of a faster Jackson Dart, but the arm talent was on full display at every level of the field. We saw the quick game getting the picture around the second quarter. We saw Caleb Oden and other transfers like Harrison Wallace get involved here with a touchdown.
Pretty good for day one. I mean, it was interesting talking to him about the goals, and I mentioned this earlier. So we just want to go out there. Our goal is just to win every game we got on the schedule. Whoa. Physical run by Brown. Recap of the stats tonight for Austin Simmons.
It ended up being a pretty good night for Austin Simmons. Again, 2 interceptions doesn't tell the whole story. A lot of pressure on him early in this game in the first quarter when the offensive line was having trouble getting in front of Henry Bryant. They shored that up a little bit late second quarter, and they've been really good here in the second half.
Here's Cameron Brown. Cam Franklin with the bear hug to bring him down amongst others. Brown, one of 2 quarterbacks that Georgia State has put out there tonight. They've combined to throw for just 63 yards.
It's been the run game for Georgia State that's been a bright spot. Obviously, we've talked about Dell McGee and his influence on that room. It's his bread and butter from his days back at Georgia. He recruited really well to add talent to that room, and 119 rushing yards. on the night so far. Obviously going up against a much different Ole Miss defense, but a defense that last year was #2 in the country at stopping the run. It's a different animal this year, but Georgia State's done a good job on the ground, and that'll bode well for their season as they figure out the quarterback position here with both guys playing a lot tonight.
Jordan Simmons with the catch on the swing pass. He battling a hamstring injury, but seeing some action, and now the Panthers will have to punt it away. Christian Bayer got the start for this Georgia State team. Reed Chamley played last year at Houston Christian. Was a Coles All-America in high school in Canton, Georgia, north of Atlanta. And looking for a Panther hop, and it trickles out at the 32-yard line. Turned into a 47-yarder, 42-point lead for the Rebs.
With the left, yeah.
Just so you didn't know, if you didn't know, this is Cole getting some action in.
Oh yeah, come on, 360 in the face. Hit him with the LeBron. Yeah. Wow. The hair didn't move either. You can't get any better than that. That's style points, boys and girls.
360 feels like a little bit of a stretch. Like I feel like you kind of made most of the turn. It would be like a 210.
Yeah, what on that one. 215, whatever it was.
By the way, the highlight of our little dunk contest from last year was all of the game management people standing behind us. Would you get off of our field?
Yeah, like we're trying to break stuff down. What are you guys doing?
We were trying to break stuff down too. Basketball goals.
We're just trying to help. Get everybody out of here.
Did you plan to do it with the left? I feel like that was kind of a panic.
No, it was like Jordan going down the lane on Vlade.
No.
Like you go up there and you see a defender, and sometimes you just have to pivot. You have to pivot midair.
I'm gonna tell you, all 13 people watching it, that's exactly what they thought. When you dunked that ball, just
they were like that
was
like
Jordan versus
Michael
Divock
Jordan.
in the paint. Exactly what was going through their brains.
I think so. Trinidad Chambliss at quarterback.
Oh, come on. Yep.
The dime. Look at the dime.
Look at the bad pass. What are we doing? I mean, you put it up in front of the hoop.
Make a play. Make a play. Our video library goes back way too far.
I didn't even know we had those.
This Winston Watkins, freshman at Fort Myers, Florida. He enrolled early, was a consensus 4-star recruit coming out of Venice High School. They're down 5 now for Trinidad Chambliss out of Ferris State. Cole, give me the two coaches who have time in the SEC who cut the teeth of Ferris State for your trivia of the night.
Well, I'll give you Charlie Weiss Jr.'s shout out, and that would be Mike Farrell, who covers college football and focuses on recruiting. Said he saw him tweet a video of him and said, all right, I got some time. I'll go check the kid out. Looked at some highlights, then decided to go a little bit deeper. And I can tell you from experience, you do have to go deep. I couldn't find any regular game film on him. I had to do a deep YouTube wormhole dive to find a little bit of tape on him. The kid can play, though. I mean,
he played in the D2 National Championship. It was on television.
You know, I didn't see the tape on that one live, but I did go find it on YouTube, and he's a gamer. He just looks like he's out there playing point guard when he plays quarterback.
Answered the trivia question was Butch Jones and Tennessee DC Tim Banks. Now let's break it down. Here's who they're trying to replace. School record holder in passing yards, Jackson Dart, was the first-round pick of the Giants, and figures that he's going to see significant playing time. And you go back to his first start at Ole Miss. This came against Troy, and compare the numbers. Lane was very direct with this. He said Austin Simmons is ahead of where Jackson Dart was at the same time, and the game numbers would suggest the same thing.
Yeah, I think that first year with Jackson, a lot of it was still quarterback run. It was run heavy. They were trying to ease Jackson into the downfield passing game and made a lot of mistakes, turned the ball over more than they wanted. And that's why I kind of asked Lane Kiffin about this transition. Okay, your core of your offense is not really what it's looked like last couple years. They got much more into a drop back type of offense because that was the strength with Jackson Dart. In the past, had been built off the run game and Q run stuff. I was like, do you go back to some of that with Austin? They go, no. This fits him perfectly. Like, he's ready for this. He's got the skill set to plug right into what Jackson was doing. I think that's what he was kind of alluding to in the fact that he's a little ahead of where Jackson was at this point.
Pass broken up.
Well, Tom, I can tell you, too, talking to his father, Dave Simmons, he referenced early on they wanted to attack this with an NFL mindset and said when they traveled to Pahokee High School, they passed a lot of other high schools that went out and played for championships but didn't coach quarterbacks the way that he wanted to. And he said it's one of the things why they're here at Ole Miss. They wanted NFL concepts. Said we sought out to build an NFL quarterback, not a college quarterback.
Every step of Austin Simmons' career has been planned and to this point executed, including tonight. Although he would point out that the UCL injury he had playing baseball put a hiccup in his baseball plans.
Half distance to goal. It remains third down.
So they rested him. This was last spring, not risking a tear, which would lead to Tommy John surgery. The football delivery a little bit different. You could play with that going on, but Austin said baseball is my first love.
Well, it's his dad's first love too, and I thought this may be the synopsis of today's college football. Dave Simmons told me straight up, without NIL, we wouldn't be playing football. We just wouldn't be doing it. We wouldn't mess with it. We'd be focused on baseball, and we would follow that path, and we would be taking that route. But because of what the money is right now in college football, specifically at quarterback, that's why they're here at Ole Miss.
I mean, think about it. You got 1 year of playing at a semi to big school in college football is probably what you would make as a 4th or 5th round draft pick. Right? I mean, so the ability to make money while in college has really changed the complexion of guys like Austin Simmons that maybe was thinking baseball. You know, the guaranteed money, not as many injuries, you know, that's a great path to take, but I think the immediacy of what you can achieve in college now, and obviously for a guy like Austin Simmons, he has an NFL future.
Yeah.
Like he has that type of talent if he continues to develop. So,
well, there have been a handful of quarterbacks over the years that also played baseball but kind of dabbled in it, right? Jameis pitching out of the Florida State bullpen. Russell Wilson played at NC State before transferring to Wisconsin. But Dad has a plan, and that plan tonight will likely lead to an Ole Miss win.
someone was doing a story and they're like, Lane Kiffin would be the most intriguing person to actually know the real stories of all the stops and all the interactions, what really happened. And I was like, that's probably true.
Yeah, that's why we called you, wanted to do this.
Get out of here. That's a show? I will watch every second of that show. There are so many great stories that we've heard through the grapevine. Here's Logan Diggs straight ahead. Great to have him back in action. I know Ryan does an amazing job. I hope he asks questions about some of the same stories that I've heard over the years.
Like what?
When he first went back to Tennessee, remember the game that we had where they threw all the trash in the field?
The golf ball and the mustard.
Yeah, he sent a picture of a grease board that had their first 15 plays scripted to members of the Tennessee Athletic Department. And it said, hey, can't wait to see you guys. And he gave them, you know, if they were to trust it and believe it, it wasn't just a plant. They gave them all that. Chambliss going deep. And Stribling hauls it in at the 11. The Saban relationship, the frustrations that Nick had with him, and dealing with the agent and trying to get rid of him, and finding a pathway, and Lane inserting himself in ways that only Lane could.
The most interesting man in college football, both on social media and just in real life.
Well, I think what's movement on the left side, I think what's interesting about it is, you know, when he got here, he was still the wonderkind, and the thought was he's just going to be a meteor and he's going to take off and go somewhere else. And now it feels like he's got roots here. And this is a place that not only he wants to be, but he knows he can win here.
Does remain first down.
His son's playing high school football down the street.
Yeah, there's definitely been like a maturation of Lane Kiffin. Well, you know, still got to get after the refs every now and then. I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about in you're right, in the roots he's developed here and the love he's developed for not just his fan base in this school, but for Oxford.
And he's taken them to new heights.
Yeah.
He's had some of the most successful regular seasons in Ole Miss history. But yeah, I think the maturation is a big part of that. And it's not just hot yoga. It's making life decisions that give you more stability, and then translating that into finding your key role. And the Portal King was a fun meme, but it turned out to be a defining aspect of this program that allowed Ole Miss to compete with maybe some of the programs that they couldn't in years past before the transfer portal really opened up. Before Kiffin, they never had a 10-win regular season, 2 of them, and he had an 11-win regular season as well. His online persona doesn't always match what he is in person.
No.
And I think that adds to some of the fun. Crossing route in the mesh will end up in a touchdown on a 13-yard strike. And Hartrup, the senior transfer from Southern Illinois, has got his first touchdown.
Yeah, just a little mesh concept. Hartrup coming from the backside. And again, just Chambliss continues to impress, man. We talked about him being a gamer, D2 national champion. He can play some football, and he's proven at the SEC level he can be a really solid and really dangerous backup. God forbid anything happened to Austin Simmons.
By the way, Hartrup only played 2 snaps last year, and now got his touchdown on opening night. It's like this Ole Miss team is kind of coming of age. They are introducing a young quarterback. I think it's only fitting that we get a chance to celebrate you and your birthday. We got a hat.
I knew you were going somewhere with it. What are we doing? What are we doing?
We're going to take this.
Capo and Greg's got a hat too?
Yeah, happy birthday, buddy.
Wow. Thank you.
29 again.
Happy birthday.
You're going to sing or no?
Yeah, I'll sing. Go ahead.
I'm telling you what, I'm getting right in.
Yeah, try it. Yes, 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 that's how you start a season. Denied. We got to see, they should have given us a bigger booth. This is what happens. You know what? Not too good tonight. Eat off the floor.
Did it get on my face at all?
You can barely notice.
Thank you.
Cole, did you get any cookie cake?
You'd think after 9 years I would expect something like that.
Yeah, how did you not know that was coming? I actually asked Dana, who went and got the cookie, if we could get like a big cake with frosting like you had in your room today. 40 plus in the season opener for 3 straight seasons.
And you just act like nothing just happened, and you get right back into football while I'm wet wiping my face. What are we doing? What are we doing? Thank you. Oh, when's your birthday again?
Oh, shoot.
Another thing I should know after 9 years.
Here's a long run by T.J. Payton. And the freshman out of Buford, Georgia. Ran for 1,700 yards at Lanier High School last year. I was not aware there was a second cookie. And I
mean, the booth is a mess. There is frosting on our audio boxes. You didn't really think that one through. Wow. 1st and 10.
I think it was still better than you with the corn dog at South Carolina a few years ago.
Jeez.
So, see, the line was in the face. And now we finally got a chance to deliver it. So 2nd and 9 for Georgia State. 50 new players in the spring for them. 9 of them were offensive linemen. Talk about a carousel. And they're able to fit it into Wes Campbell the 6th. I got my I and my V's mixed up. Roman numerology was never my strong suit. You all right?
I don't know. I think I finally got the frosting all off my face.
You've got to work again tomorrow.
I do.
You're going to be doing pre and post for Virginia Tech and South Carolina?
Big one for South Carolina. Lenore Sellers, that defense for South Carolina, trying to reload.
Brown with a first down run. It'd be really fun. Cole, watching Shane Beamer coach against Virginia Tech. Obviously his dad, Hall of Fame coach there. Shane was on the roster with Mike Vick.
I don't think there's any doubt. Not just that and the rivalry aspect of it, but like Jordan said earlier, what's that South Carolina offense going to look like with Lenore Sellers? Some young receivers, offensive line. They've got a little bit of depth there. Defensive line, lost a couple guys up front, not just Kyle Kennard out on the edge, but some D tackles.
But that secondary has a lot of names that we've been talking about for years.
A ton of snaps, and you've got a couple of guys, Monkel Goodwine and some others inside, Brian Thomas on the edge, that have just been there under Clayton White for 4 and 5 years. I'm interested to see what it looks like, because I don't think the drop-off's going to be. Shane's done more through the portal with less than any other coach in this league. There are going to be 2-3 guys that make some plays that we're not talking about.
Just a hair out of the reach after Cameron Brown got smoked before he got rid of that one. What a great job Clayton White has done as a DC over there. You take what he's done and Tim Banks has done at Tennessee. Man, there's some good coaches in this league.
They go underrated.
Yeah.
On a national scale when their defenses are performing year in and year out on a national scale and always up there, you know, in the top 20, top 10 in some categories.
I mean, I don't think Pete Golding gets the love he deserves.
Totally.
Brad White of Kentucky definitely doesn't get the love that he deserves.
Well, to be fair, Golding got the love of the bank account.
Yeah.
They're down 8. Ole Miss saw movement on the left side of the line.
Offense, 5-yard penalty, remains 3rd down.
They'll back it up and try it again. But Cameron Brown getting quality run tonight. Georgia State does not have an easy start to the schedule. They get Memphis coming to town next Saturday night. Then Murray State, and they close with a road trip to Nashville to take on Vandy. Vandy will have revenge on its mind. Tackle made after a gain of a couple. DJ Riles with the catch. Fourth and 11. I just checked the calendar. We do not have a game on my birthday this year, so
that's okay.
Clear.
Now the problem is now you never know when payback's coming.
I know.
It could be any time.
Here comes the pressure. Brown flush, and just off the hand of his intended receiver, Derek Avery Jr.
That good pressure from the left side there, forcing Brown out of the pocket. Just out of the reach of the talented freshman Derek Avery.
.302 to play.
Still? It's a long game.
It has been a long game. You know, we start later than most. Handoff, and a gain of 8 on first down. Logan Diggs is a remarkable story. Senior from Louisiana, played at LSU, who graduated in December. He's pursuing a master's as well. He only played one game last year with Ole Miss. He went 265 days between games. Tore his ACL against Wisconsin in the Gator Bowl. Or pardon me, played against Wisconsin in the Gator Bowl. Tore his ACL the year before when he was with LSU in its bowl game. And here's Diggs with room on the left side and a sprint for a first down and maybe more. And Diggs taken down at the 23-yard line after a 49-yard run. He came to Ole Miss and he said, these people wanted me when I was at my lowest. He was going to turn pro after the LSU bowl game. He and his mom watched the second half in the dressing room. As they sat in silence, he said, we didn't know what God was trying to tell us or show us. He has a plan, and he brought me to Ole Miss, and now I hope I can give back what they've given to me.
Timeout.
This is what he told her. Billy Watkins, they wanted me when I was at my lowest, when I had no hope. But now Logan Diggs, all smiles on the Ole Miss sideline, back in the swing of things in college football in the SEC.
College Football Playoff begins December 19th and concludes with the National Championship January 19th on ESPN.
Tom Jordan Cole, night one of the season. And Ole Miss and Lane Kiffin looking to go to 20-2 against non-conference opponents. 2 minutes to play.
You think the library's at max capacity?
Yeah.
They're celebrating early in Oxford.
It kind of feels like a constant celebration in this town. Here's Chambliss. It may be the best bar on any college campus. Get everything you want.
So many great nights that we don't remember happen right there.
Second down 5. Then you can roll over and get some pizza while you wait for the world's longest Uber line. Have you ever been to Square Books?
No. What's that?
No, I didn't think so. One of the world's best bookstores, but most of your books have already been colored in, so I guess you wouldn't be shopping there.
You felt good about that one?
Yeah. I practiced it all day. Here's Diggs. And he takes it to the 5.
I think you could tell on that run that Diggs had that maybe the top end speed isn't quite what it used to be. Obviously started his career at Notre Dame before LSU, but he is a very serviceable, still very talented running back in a deep running back group. And you can see Lane Kiffin there starting the celebrations as we tick down under 50 seconds.
He got Joe Corey into the game along with Jack Harper, and I think he was excited to get 42 and 69 in before the game came to a close. And Diggs powers his way in. Touchdown, Logan Diggs. Welcome back, Logan Diggs. It's a 62-point night, and Ole Miss, the first team in conference history to score more than 60 in 3 consecutive season openers.
No love for Joe Corey at center on that play, huh?
I said it was nice.
Nice.
Oh, he fumbled the bag. Point after is good.
Tom, you mentioned Jack Harper. Look at the block coming all the way across the line of scrimmage. Getting the key block here to give Logan Diggs a one-on-one matchup that he won at the goal line.
Diggs made the dunk on his second attempt. Strong.
Here we go. There it is.
Cole, looks like they actually bolted the support post together this time.
Yeah, the rim actually has kind of a 20-degree upward angle on it now. I'm not sure they had the level out when they decided to do that.
Like a carnival.
There you go, yeah. The double rim like Sunvolt used to have in the barn.
Yeah, that's right. This shoot to the net falls off. Cole, I looked down there a second ago. I thought you were going to be breaking down plays. Were you petting a dog on the sideline?
I'll tell you, Juice and I've been hanging out a lot tonight. Been a lot of downtime, and he's not near as active as he was a year ago. He's calmed down a lot. He's getting old.
He's getting old.
Sucks to get old.
That's not nice. Maybe he's just maturing.
I'm older, but I'm just saying, you get old, and some things aren't as cool as they used to, and apparently football games aren't as cool to him as they used to be. But
done that.
As friendly as ever, I will say that. You put a dog near me, I'm good.
The goodest boy in Oxford right there. He's like, look, I've seen 60-plus points before. It's nothing new.
Yeah.
Well, the best was his handler took him back towards the locker room right before the half, and he said, it's nap time. We got to go.
There was some
talk
like,
for you or him.
There was some talk when Juice showed up that he wasn't the most disciplined dog.
Yeah.
And you would see remnants of that lack of discipline throughout the football facility as a pup.
Well, didn't Lane show us like a signed hat from some country artist that he had shredded in the office or whatnot, or a playbook, something or other?
Yeah, something or other.
They got off to a rough start here.
Chewing on things, pooping everywhere.
But you know what? He didn't hit the portal.
Tom after a night
he stuck it out.
And there we go.
Your jokes are longer than the line for the bathroom at Rounders. 63-7, Ole Miss with the lead, with the win. That is the third straight win, which they've scored 60 or more for their season opener. And all told, it's what Ole Miss had drawn up. Some mistakes early, a little more consistency late, and the Rebels get ready, because they've got an SEC opener on the road in Lexington on Saturday on ABC. Lane standing by with Cole.
Coach, I think a lot of people look at the final score and say you have nothing to worry about, be happy. But I do know with some bumps in the road there, the way they finished, I know you have to feel good about that with your team.
Yeah, that was a great second half, but we got a lot to clean up. We got to go into SEC play next week, you know. But that's a good team. And those guys beat Vanderbilt last year, and so got really good players and good coaches. So pleased by how we played in the second half. Pleased by the production numbers, offense and defense. But we still got a lot to clean up to go play Kentucky next week.
A lot of the messaging from a lot of coaches across college football going into this season is we don't really know what we have. What's something that you thought you needed to learn about your football team that you were able to take away that you actually learned about them today?
Well, I thought the quarterback had two bad decisions today, but the receivers made plays like I thought they would. The tight end and and number 5 ran really well, so that's good. We hadn't had that all last year, so that was really good to see.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, thanks.
And they will take that excitement into the Bluegrass next week to take on Zach Calzada and the Kentucky Wildcats, and a team that handed them a loss that likely kept them out of the college football playoff last year. So redemption on Ole Miss's mind, if not an entire basketball goal. That'll do it for here in Oxford. Cole will be by in just a minute. Chat with Austin Simmons. For Jordan, Cole, our fantastic crew. Say goodbye to Billy Palladino as we send you to the studio. Here's Dari.